Lord, I've had a good life, and I think I lived it right. Bet there's a big old orgy waiting for me in the sky. I'm sure behind them pearly gates there's booze and weed and pills. But if there ain't sluts in heaven, Lord, send me down to hell.
Nine p.m. Eastern Standard. We are right on fucking time.
Yeah. Well, we had a little chat last week, and
decided to throw a curveball. How curveball showed up? McTubis is here. Somebody was waiting.
Yeah, that's a catchy tune, man. When I die,
Whitney's here too. God damn.
Yeah, CD's here. When I die, I want that played at my funeral.
Dude, I'm telling you what, I think I want it played at my funeral.
Okay.
There's going to be a whole bunch of motherfuckers that want Wheeler Walker Jr. I'm just telling you.
It'd be cool if we got him to actually come to the funeral and play. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Dude, well, theoretically, I don't know how old he is. I'm assuming he's probably older than me, but then again, he may not be. But, I'm thinking he might be dead before I am.
This is what we need to do. We need to get like a GoFundMe started to like pump him full of fucking stem cells and TRT, make him live to be 108.
Well, then he could come and play, But if he's like, 93 when I die, he might be like, Lord, I had a good life and I think I made it right. It might be something like that at that point. I don't know.
I mean, if they can do it to Joe Biden, I mean, we can do it to him.
God. Dude, he's not even a human. What are you talking about?
He's just like a carapace.
Yeah, he's an android. That's why he's glitchy.
It's not even Weekend at Bernie's anymore. It's not even Weekend at Bernie's anymore.
It's not. It's like Terminator only with fucking, Tourette's or something. I don't know. Hey, McCubus, you're right. Me and Vince can sing it while we're holding hands on the airplane. I can look over at him lovingly and say, Lord, I've had a good life. And he can turn and look at me and go, but I think I lived it right. Exactly. We'll take turns trading verses. It'll be great.
I think for Vince, though, it would be if there's no homos in heaven, then send me straight to hell.
That's Aaron.
That's Clary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Clary. That he'd be like, Lord, I've had a good life, but $20 is $20. And if there ain't homos in heaven, well, fuck it. That would be more Aaron Clary style.
If there's no TJs in heaven, send me straight to hell.
Oh, man. I had way too much fun, repurposing their content. That it's like, look, it's Brokeback Canyon. That was just too much fun. Because it's like, what are you going to do when you get to the point in your life that, you're so unattractive? And it's not because you're short. It's not because you're fat or thin or whatever. It's your fucking attitude that makes you unattractive. What are you going to do with the next 40 years of your life? You're going to go out and hike canyons with Clary and give everyone the bird finger and say, look at me today. This is today's office. Fuck it. Go be a homosexual. I want to be around women because they're just far more pleasing to the eye. That's my own opinion. That it's like, oh, hey, we're going to have a man group get together. What are you guys going to do? Shit on the whammon and talk about politics? Go fuck off. I don't want to talk about that shit. I don't care about that shit.
I wish we had Twitter back in the day whenever I was delivering beer kegs to strip clubs. That would have been fun.
Oh, right.
Here's my office. Just a picture of a girl just bent over with a leg spread.
Right. It's I don't get it. I've thought about it for a long time, Bull. And I got a blog post coming up here on Monday called Experience with Women. And I reference a post that I wrote back in January of 2020 that's called Are You Experienced? And It's got a reference to Jimi Hendrix for those who know who that is. But in that original post, I was talking more about sexual experience. How do you know how good she is or not if you have no baseline, you know? But in this particular post, I'm going a little more meta, a little more broad. Like, how many women have you talked to? Because I've come to the conclusion that you can talk about women, but that doesn't mean you have experience. You can hypothesize, you can theorize, you can speculate, and the worst ones, the worst offenders, are the guys who like to mind read. That
Oh yeah, I love those
it's
guys.
the guys that a woman, when you do this, that means that, and she does this, and it's like, dude, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You're mind reading, which is how I know you have no experience. Where to me, experience equates into talking to women, not talking about women. Okay. Not that you can't talk about women, but otherwise, I mean, I tied in Chest Rockwell's statement that he said last year about all of your knowledge of women is in the abstract. Okay. But it got me thinking. And so I did my own little impromptu, check. How many women did I meet in 2022? Whether I fucked them or not, whether anything happened or not, how many women did I get to show up in front of me physically, face to face, with the intention that we're on a date, where even if it's a first time, we're meeting up, they're there because they know, hey, I want a date. And I'm like, yeah, me too. How many women did I get to show up in 2022? 10. 10 is the number.
That's respectable.
I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. It's not a flex or a brag because ultimately it's not even one a month when you average it out. But I met 10 women. Okay. Out of those 10, 8 of them I made out with. Got to kiss them, got to fuck around with them a little bit. 5 of them, that's as far as it ever went, that they ghosted. They said things like, one woman said, I realized I'm just not ready to date because her fucking life was a train wreck. Okay. One woman realized, I'm not really into you. And so you've obviously said you're not looking for friends because I'm not. So she had to go bye-bye. So 5 of those 8 women went nowhere. Okay. The other 3 I slept with. And then there was 2, one at the beginning of 2022 and one at the very end of 2022, where it went nowhere. And all I got was the hug. The A-frame where, they put their shoulder in and they pat you, but their hips and waist are about as far away as you can get.
Yeah.
Okay. All of this is not meant to be like a flex or a brag. It's really not. It's just, man, I met 10 women, and that's while holding down a full-time job. That's while dating the belly dancer, where I'm seeing her on a regular basis as well. That's while I'm doing live streams. That's while I'm doing videos. That's while I'm doing audios. That's while I'm getting on Twitter and shit talking with guys. This is while I'm eating, sleeping, riding motorcycles, and having a life. So you're correct, Bull. I think having 10 is a respectable number because I got them to show up. I'm not counting women that I just texted with. I'm not counting women where, we swapped pictures or did a video chat and it went nowhere. Oh my God, if I was to fucking count all of those women, holy shit. No, these are just women that I met face to face with the intention of, look, I'm here to date. And they knew it. Hey, look who finally decided to show up.
Old man in the sea.
I've been here a while. Bull Rush just never pays attention.
I was enamored in Rob's story here.
Enamored.
Enamored.
Jesus.
Enamored.
Lay off the 50-cent words, dude.
Ah,
I wanted to, you know, make you like me, Dad.
Shit.
I want to
And if
impress the
that
English major.
if that doesn't work, then it's going to be fuck you, Dad.
Fuck you, Dad.
It's going to be fuck you, Dad, either way.
Oh well,
Oh
ultimately.
yeah, but you know
We
we
know
got to do
that.
the process.
Mhm.
Got to let the process roll out.
Yep, exactly.
Let's see.
So,
Women stink.
doing all right?
We have Rob, brother
Yeah,
blood.
women
you're
stink.
new.
Who needs them?
Yeah, women ain't shit. Well, it got me thinking and I said it in my blog post. I asked the readers, how many women did you meet in 2022? And I gave a few options. It's not a poll. You can't, click on it, but it's more one of those rhetorical questions. Did you meet 0? Did you meet 1, 2, 5, 100? I'm curious. Because like I said, yeah, 10 women to me isn't shit. It's really not that big of a deal. I genuinely am kind of curious. Like, how many women did you meet? Yeah, Anon, for all the talk you talk on the internet, on the Twitter sphere, in the gay monastery, how many women did you meet? Anon,
are you talking about new women you met and dated, or just
no,
women you met
new women.
that you
Because
dated?
I'm not counting for me. I wasn't counting the belly dancer. As far as the 10 women I met did not include the belly dancer, even though I was also seeing her and fucking her at the same time. It's like, no, these were 10 new women.
But these have to be women you're dating, not just women
That you meet face to face.
No, but I mean for dating, not just women you meet and.
Oh yeah, you're not meeting them at the grocery store and saying hello to them. Oh yeah, that's part of the blog post. I mentioned, like, you just saying hi to a chick doesn't count. You talking to, the checkout girl and saying, so what do you think of this weather? No, that shit don't count. Talking to your mama and your sister and your aunt and your cousins and all that shit don't count. I'm talking about face to face, where it's just you and her, with the intention that she knows and that ultimately, whether you're looking for marriage or long term or you're looking for a hookup, it doesn't matter, but you both know why you're there.
What if you're dating the cousin?
Well, that's fine if you want to date your cousin.
All right.
Depends.
Why do we have to bring Alabama fans into this? They don't count.
Well, I mean, they're cousins and they're cousins,
Well, hey, in the blog post, I also mentioned your wife doesn't count either for some guys, that it's like, look, you can't factor your wife into this, it's like, that's for another time, another story, but you can't, how many women did you meet? You can't count your wife either, or your girlfriend, which is why I left belly dancer out of it. Okay. These were all brand new women to me. I met 10. 2 of them went absolutely nowhere. 5 of them got a little action. I thought things were going well, but yeah, it didn't go any further than that. It might have been a date or 2. It's about it. Maybe 3. And then 3 of those 10 I ended up having sex with. A couple of them was for over a month, like month and a half. One of them was a one-night stand, same day lay. Met her that one day. We're walking out and I'm like ready to go home and go to bed because I had to get up and go to work the next morning. And I'm like, well, I just looked over at her and was like, what do you want to do? And if she'd have said, I'm tired, I'm going to go home and go to bed, I'd have been like, cool, see you later. But instead she looked at me and goes, I don't know, what do you want to do? And that's where I was like, you want to come over and pet my cats? I used bulrushes line. Okay. And she was like, sure. And that's when I knew it's like, oh, fuck, it's on. All right.
All right. In that case, you can put me down for 3, but that's only half a year, because the first half of the year I was just pretty much focused on a little bit. And then the second half of the year,
started meeting others. Okay.
Little bit and I were estranged for a period.
Right.
And now we're back together again. So during that estrangement, you can put me down for 3.
Okay, cool. Bull, what about you? And again, we're not
5.
talking sex. How many women did you meet in 2022 that you hadn't already met in 2021? Going off of all the speculation and rules that I just gave you. So you met 5?
5.
Nice.
5, not including my current girl who tracked me
Right.
down. On
You met
Facebook.
her the year before, right?
No, I met her last year.
Well, then she counts if she was new in 2022. She counts.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
So you
she's
met
6 then.
6. All right. That's respectable too.
See, you ain't got no business using them in words like enamored when you can't even, get the maths right, dude.
Okay. It looks like Ribney
know.
met 7. Nice. All right. These are
And I'm also taking care of a kid at this time too. So
right.
keep that shit
That's
in mind.
my fucking point. Okay. You met 6. Ribney met 7. Nick met 3, but he had extenuating circumstances. Okay. And I get it. Again, I'm not judging. It's an honest question. It's like, how many women did you, anonymous guy on Twitter, how many you, gentle reader reading my blog post, how many women did you meet face to face? Not just texting. Because my God, if I went with that number, holy shit, it would be probably like
It'd be
30 or 40.
astronomical.
Right. I don't count that.
I can't even count that high.
Right. Well, you can only count to like clearly only 6. So, and barely you can count to 6. You thought it was 5.
That made my head hurt. Give me a headache.
Right. That's what I mean. So clearly, if it's anything over one of your meat-sized fucking basketball hands, it's just too much.
So women I
gotta
met
call
through
me out.
friends, and shit
Hmm?
that I decided I wasn't going to pursue.
It
Does
doesn't,
that count?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it worked out or not.
Mm.
It's like I said, I met 10, and out of that 10, I only ended up fucking 3 of them. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about women I met while I was hanging out with friends, and they
Right.
had their friends come.
Well, right, and if it turned into a serious conversation, it's not just you said, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Nice weather we're having."
Sure.
No, we're not talking that. But you kind of were able to isolate her, or she isolated you, whatever it may be. Where we're kind of like we're fucking doing a thing here. That's
all right.
what
My number would be higher if we're including advanced socialization, or advanced socializing, but I don't know what that would be. But
Hey,
What does that mean?
advanced socializing, that means you meet somebody, you hang out with them, you talk a while, but then it doesn't go anywhere for whatever reason.
nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
Because again, well, it's true. Better than Rib. Okay. 8 women in 10 years. That's,
Wow.
I know Chest was waiting for me to say that, and that's why I had to say it. He fucked 8 women in 10 years. And yes, I've been there too back in my 20s. Okay. Like I said, I met 10 last year that, I only fucked 3 of them. Oh, damn, dude. I thought you were an alpha male. Well, apparently I'm not. But I
And
met
see, and CD said he only piped down 2. I mean, that's 2 more
right.
than most. He's not part of the
Right.
one behind club. And CD's like 85 years old. He's like 85.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Methuselah. He's almost as old as Rob.
Almost.
Yeah.
He's close. He's pushing it. But that's kind of my point. Going back more at the anon guy on Twitter or the gentle reader who likes to talk about women, but they haven't talked to women. That was the whole point of the post. To me, it's like, hey, Anon, how many women have you talked to in 2022? 0, 1, 2. Okay. We're not even talking notch count here. Just how many fucking women other than family, friends, co-workers where you said hello, good morning, how's the weather? Oh, hey, did you get that project done? Now that shit don't count, man. This is dating shit.
Oh, you mean like the Dante openers?
What the hell was his openers?
I don't know. That's his openers when he talks to girls. Did you, he goes up to a girl and says, "Hey, did you get those TPS reports done?"
Oh well. Hey, to not throw shade at Dante, dude, kid's doing all right. I'll give him that. He's learning because he's actually going out and talking to women. He's not talking about women. He's talking to them. So I'll give him some credit, even if it's fucking stupid. It's like, oh, yeah, that's rookie. But you know what? At least he's fucking trying. The dude's gotten laid a few times. It's like, oh, look at this guy. He's fucking figuring it out instead of talking about women and blaming technology and blaming society and culture and all this other crap. At least he's fucking going out there and sometimes it's him and he can realize it. He's starting to calibrate enough to go, oh yeah, that was me. And there's other times when he's like, is that me? And I'm like, no, that wasn't you, dude. That was whatever it is, and it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And he's like, that's what I kind of thought. And he's like, dude, this is pretty random. And I'm like, welcome to the world, Dante. Dating is fucking random more often than not.
Well, that kind of leads to my
Hey, look at that motherfucker. He showed up. Look,
that kind of leads to my topic tonight is that you fuckers are too stupid to have a good time.
Ah, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Continue, please.
Yeah. So that line is if you don't know, that line is from a very popular 80s movie called Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze in it. He's a bouncer at a honky tonk bar or cowboy bar or whatever the fuck it is, and it's a pretty rowdy place, and he gets called in there to clean it up. But there is part of the movie where these guys come in and they said they want to go and drink and have a good time. And he told them Swayze's character told him get the fuck out, and they wouldn't get out. And he said they're too stupid to have a good time. And so he took the motherfuckers outside and whooped their ass. But it leads to a bigger issue. Like most guys don't know how to have a good time, when they go out with a girl, or even if they're just out in period and socializing with other people. Like most guys are fucking boring, and they're not fun. And girls don't want to be around guys who aren't fun because they just want to have a good time.
Right. Who was it? Cyndi Lauper said that back in the 80s.
Yeah. Yes, she did. Girls just want. See, she already gave it away, but guys weren't listening.
Well,
Gotta listen.
True. Hey, Ultra Humanite. Ryan Stone says you can get a new girl every week. Rob is so full of it. Dude, you caught me in my grift. You caught me. You caught me, bruh. Just gonna own it right here, right now. You caught me. Yep. Damn it.
Ryan also said to not eat paint. So
Well, there's that too. But should I start crying now? Bull, do you want to cry with me like that one guy that was crying on a fucking Twitch stream overlooking?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was fucking, dude, that was cringe
was
as shit. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
He had his old
crying
lady in
with
the background. His old lady was crying with him.
I know. It was great.
I thought that was his mom at first, and I had to look that shit up. I'm like, nope, that's his wife.
That was the best. They're both fucking crying. She's wiping her eyes. He's got snot running out of his nose. Yeah, it was a good time. The fucking theatrics and the stupid shit people will do for likes. Yep. It was a good time. But you're right, Ultra Humanite. You caught me, bro. I'm a grifter just like the Riv. That's all I'm going to say. Only mine's not going to be green lines. I'm going to do red lines because fuck green lines. No, I'm not going to give you one. Ultra Humanite, I'm not giving you an explanation. Fuck you. Pay me.
Demand. You demand.
Yeah.
Time his ass out. I demand someone time him out.
Hey,
Details are cash only.
You're in charge of the goddamn stream tonight. If you want to demand anything, Bull, it's on you.
Yeah, I demand he gets timed out for a while to think about what he said.
That's right. Go sit in the corner. Go sit in the Lincoln chair.
I demand. Oh my
Dante,
God.
I don't have time for a new girl a week.
What new girl a week?
Yes or no? Dude, well, Dante, you're young and you're full of vinegar and piss and sperm and whatever else you're full of. So, hey, go for it. Dude, I did 7 days and 7 nights of women, man. I already wrote the blog post. Clearly, you didn't read it. And I'm just telling you, go for it, bro.
All I want to know is if Dante ordered his fucking Kevlar vest yet.
Mm.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah, because he was virtue signaling about fucking around with married women. Yeah, I'm with you, Bull. It's not about morality; it's about practicality.
Yeah, it's about,
You probably ought to get a vest if you're going to chase married women, because at some point somebody's going to come knocking.
It's all logistics and ballistics.
That's right. On the next episode of Let 'Em Burn.
If I were ever hosting the show again, that's what I would call it, logistics and ballistics, but I'm not. So
Well, yeah, you made. Hey, I got a fucking bone to pick with you since you brought it up, Nick.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I got somebody reached out, somebody we both, all three of us know. Somebody reached out to me last week shortly after the show, like the next day, and said, "Hey, did he delete it?" And he popped the link into my DMs, and I clicked on it, and it said, "This video is private." And then I went, and because I have a playlist that's called Let 'Em Burn with Nick August. I don't even give Bull props. And I noticed the only videos there were mine and Bull's. What happened, Nick?
I made all my videos private.
May I ask why?
No.
Fuck. Well, I asked. You're just obviously not going to answer.
I don't really have
an answer other than you just wanted to do it.
A well-reasoned answer. It was just kind of like, all right, so I'm eliminating myself as a host.
So you're pivoting. Okay. And that's cool. I respect.
No, there's no pivot. It's more that the making all the videos, I didn't delete them or anything. There's still.
Find Jesus?
Oh no, I know they're there because, like I said, when I clicked on it, it said this video's.
They're still there. They're private. And the person I think who reached out to you and asked, he also reached out to me, and he said,
I told the same person, "Hey, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Why don't you go ask Nick?"
Right. So I set him up so he could go watch it, because if a video is private, you're still able to watch it if you have permission. So I just gave him permission.
Or if you made it unlisted or whatever, you give him the link. The only reason I ask, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to cut right through the bullshit, right to the thing. Okay. I'm fine that you did it. It's your channel. It's your material as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I'm a little sad because we had some really good stuff there. Okay. And all I'm asking is, hey, you wanted to make it private because you're going to refocus your channel or whatever. That's cool. I respect that. But could you send me the links or whatever? Because personally, I would like to download some of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know for posterity.
I'm not saying I won't make them public again. I just, it was sort of like drawing a line under the decision, right?
No, and I respect that. I do. Like I said, and ultimately, any show I've been on that's not on my channel is somebody else's property, and whatever they choose to do with it, I really don't have a say, and I'm okay with that. It's like, whatever. If you told me, fuck you, Rob, I deleted them. All right.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if people were constantly watching them every year,
right,
I would probably leave them up. But after a short period of time, it's not like people are continuing to find them and watch them.
I agree with you there, because even when I host them, they're not always watching them. And I get that. And like I said, but I was just curious, I was hoping to, catch you backstage to have this conversation, because personally, we had some really good ones where I'm like, oh man, I would like to have a copy of that, because I just assumed it would be there. But since it's not, well, okay, whatever, it's gone, because
we got a Nick Dick writer over here.
Nick is
Nick
the
is the third best host. Shit.
Dick Ryder.
You're saying more about yourself than you are me there, brother.
They always out themselves, don't they?
They do, don't
they
they?
really do. And you know, and like I said, because I noticed earlier today, Ryan on his digital Ryan, his other channel, he got like a second copyright strike or something off of a video he did a couple of years ago. There was a comment about a certain group of individuals. And even you, Nick, you're like, yeah, you probably ought to do something about that before you get tatered by the tube.
Told him he needs to get on the ball with his next book so that
Right. Before he gets tatered by the tube.
get another income stream coming in
Right.
before YouTube goes away. That's right.
Right. Well, but that your comment and his original tweet got me thinking. And I was like, man, is that going to happen to me at some point from some video I did back in 2018? Probably. And that's where I was like, God, I don't really want that to happen. So I have a BitChute channel that I uploaded so far, my most popular videos. But now I'm seriously thinking about like uploading them all. Just be like, okay, here's the library. It's all fucking here. Because at least there, I'm not going to get a copyright strike, at least as far as I know. But then delete the videos off of YouTube other than like the last month, to say, okay, here's the last month of shit. The rest of it, fucking all gone. You want the library, you want to go back and look at shit that you haven't seen in 4 years or whatever, go to here to see it. That way I avoid the copyright strike type of shit that I don't have to worry about it. But the preservation, if you will, the stuff's still available. It's just going to be somewhere else. But that then got me thinking about, you and me and Bull, about the stuff that you and I have done, the stuff that you and I and Bull have done. And I'm like, man, there's like a solid year of material that you exclusively hosted. And it's like, damn, all that shit's basically gone. And that's okay, but it's just like, I'll admit I was a little sad. But I respect your decision because it's your material.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that this stream is sponsored by Butthurt Hefeweizen.
It's not anymore.
Oh, it's not?
What is it sponsored by now? Well,
they pulled their sponsorship.
Did they?
It's probably for the best.
Well,
what's this butt woman?
I have no idea.
You have to understand when it comes to shit that I do, after a period, I just want to blow it up. It's
kind of like you did Dante's one of his chat channels.
His channels.
Well,
which was
cool. That was an accident, but yeah,
whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
but I liked, after a while, it's just like, hey, you had your time for this. If you loved it, you should have watched it then. And if you didn't, then you just missed. Stick around for the next thing. And it's not so much it's not really a pivot so much as a clean break. But like I said, I didn't delete that shit because I don't, because I agree with you. We had a lot of good shows, and
we had a lot of really good stuff. And like I said, I'm not asking you to make it public. I'm just asking you, hey, can you give me access to some of that? Because there's things that I'd like to save for posterity.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, yeah, these were good times. I couldn't tell you the exact episode. I'd have to go back and look at them, but that's all I'm asking is, as a friend, hey, can you send, make them unlisted or whatever, send me a link, something so that I can archive them for my own personal, if anything, it's just memories, because we've had some good ones.
Well, I mean, the way I did it with the other fellow you mentioned is all I got to do is give permission to your whatever your Gmail address is, and you can access all of them.
Okay. Well, then
So-
backstage when we're done, I'll give you all that information, and
I
then
got your Gmail. So
okay, well there you go. Because like I said, when I first heard that this is what you chose to do, it was a surprise. I was like, "Oh, wow, he did that." And then when I went through my playlist, because I have one, I realized, oh shit, the only thing that's there is mine that I've hosted and the ones that Bull has hosted.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my God, there's a lot of episodes. There's
Oh
at
my
least
God.
almost a year that was just you hosted it. And I'm like, man, there was some good times there. I respect it. And if you said, nope, fuck it, dude, I'm keeping them private or I'm deleting them, hey, I respect that. But same time, if you're not, hey, can I at least have access to them? Because we had a lot of good stuff there.
I mean, let's be honest though. You're not going to go back and rewatch any of that stuff.
No, but with your permission, I'm gonna upload it. I'll put it on fucking BitChute, dude, with all my other shit that I plan to put up there. Because, dude, we had some good shit. Okay. Because I have listened to the stuff on occasion. And I have obviously memory as short as it is in this TLDR fucking generation. There are things that I'm like, oh man, that was on Nick's channel. That it's like, oh man, this was good. That it's like, oh, I still respect your decision. And if you told me no, okay, cool, bro. I'm fine. But at the same time, if you're open to it, I would like to archive them, but that's me. And if you don't want to, I'm cool.
No, we can talk about it. I don't see a problem with it.
Okay.
Again, this is more like this is more for what I like.
Oh, Chest is trying to poke the bear.
See, because if it were solely up to me,
Right.
if it were solely up to me, the more time goes on, the more I would make this the kind of thing where if you weren't here watching this while it was live, then you don't get to see it.
No, and
Like a
and
one and done kind of
I get
thing.
that too. I get that. Dude, there's been so many times, especially with the live streams. Not so much the pre-produced videos or whatever, but these live streams, there's been so many times that I've been like, fuck them. If you weren't here to witness it in real time, you missed it. But I don't know, man. I can't, because the world is a big place. There's a lot of time zones and not everybody can be on when we're on.
I get it.
And so that's maybe my sympathy, empathy showing up. That I'm just like, there's guys I know and they're 12 fucking hours difference from me. They're asleep. And it's like, do I punish them because they don't live here? I can't do that.
Yeah, I would. I mean, life is
burn.
you only get so much in life, you can't have everything.
True.
I mean,
True.
some guys,
God damn.
some guys can't have, some guys don't get, clean running water. Some guys don't get, Thai lady boys dancing on a stage for them. I mean, it's like
some guys don't get laid. It's just the fact of life.
as Dirty Harry once famously said, a man's got to know his limitations.
That's fair. That's fucking fair. Oh my God. That is so fair. It really is. It is. That's why it's like, whatever, dude. If you don't want to, I get it.
And part of it is just me being an asshole because the whole, because everything about social media has become, let's maximize access for everybody. Everybody needs to see this, yada, yada, yada. And my attitude is more like, I don't give a shit if anybody sees this or not. And if you weren't here when we were here, then, fuck you. There's no replay in life. You don't get a replay.
Fuck, true.
If you weren't at the bar that night when we were all there and had a good time because you were home, reading a book, then you made a choice.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, Ribney, I'm not high. I'm just drunk. All right. There's a difference.
Rob's just a villain.
I am. But
A
you know
drunken
what?
villain.
You make sense, Nick. You really do. Because yeah, if you weren't at the bar, it is that old adage, dude. You had to be there. You
I
know?
just like I like the more time goes on and the older I get, the more I want my aesthetic, if you want to call it that, to be analog. So it's like there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees on Let 'Em Burn. There's no guarantees with me, certainly. So
Right.
it's just like, hey, you may catch it, you may not.
Right. No, dude, with that mentality, with that, perspective, dude, don't even worry. I mean, if you want to send me the links or whatever, cool.
Well, I will if that's what you want. Absolutely.
Yeah, but part of me is now like, dude, you had to be there. Part of
I
me
just-
is literally because you're bringing me back to the days of being in the bar, which isn't that long ago. It's not like, when I was 21. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, fuck, you had to be there, dude. And so part of me is like, fuck it. Don't worry, Nick. I'm good.
I just want to, maybe
Nostalgic and sentimental for a minute, but now I'm good.
I mainly just want to piss in the punch bowl because you can either be reliving shit or trying to catch on shit you missed, or you can be living now and coming up with new shit, discovering new shit, or doing your own new shit rather than just being obsessed over,
Damn.
hey, I missed this episode of that, or I missed that episode of this,
Yep. No, you know what?
Fuck that.
Dude, you just sold me. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Fuck it.
We'll talk again when you sober up.
Yeah, even then, I probably am still going to be like, fuck it. I'm being sentimental at the moment, and which is rare because usually I am the guy that's like, fuck it. Just like the guy that you and we know who it is. That when he reached out to me and was like, what the fuck? What happened? And I'm like, I don't know. Talk to him. Talk to Nick.
And if anybody got in touch with me and said, right. If anybody got in touch with me and said, hey, I missed XYZ, can I see it? If I know who it is,
right.
And if I think they're worth going to the trouble for, I'll let them in there. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, sober, drunk, I don't care. It's like, you made your point, Nick. I'm good. Oh, Rolando Tomato will save the manosphere. And yet the show's going down. Isn't that great? Rolo did it. No, he didn't.
It all goes back to Bull Rush's point, when basically what happened in Roadhouse is those guys came in there and tried to raise hell. He told them no. They said, we just want to have a good time. And he said, you're too stupid to have a good time. And then he kicked the shit out of them. And it's like, that's the same kind of thing. If you're going to get butthurt over something, then, I don't want you to be around here anyway. I ain't got time for the butthurt, I got time for all that.
Well, no one's going to listen to you anyway. No one cares.
Well, I mean, and this has been kind of my point about what we do here from the beginning, is because every other show out there, every other live stream out there, is they're trying to bring value to people. What we're trying to do is extract value from other people. So, we're not here to serve you. You're here to serve us. And if you're not here, contributing to the good time, then you watching it on replay doesn't do me any good. So why should I give a fuck?
Exactly.
There is no altruism here. I mean, the whole, we can recycle sort of, we can, bounce around topics and everything else, but our fundamental principle has always been, we're not here to bring value to you. You're here to give value to us. And if
it's a purely narcissistic exchange. If you do find value in what we do,
that's great, but we're not trying to bring it, and I don't give a shit. So
Exactly.
exactly,
Maybe
what
you're
have you
trying
done
to
to earn my
my
value? Thank you, McTubus. And if McTubus, hit me up and he's like, I want access to all of, the Let 'em Burns hosted on the Nick August channel, I would give that to McTubus because, McTubus has been here bringing value from the very first show. So
He really was, yeah.
why wouldn't I?
Right. Oh,
Robot
there it is. I
tornado.
Robot tornado.
I demand access.
That's what I mean. I demand access.
I kind of like. I think Rolling Torino would be a good one.
Rolling
Torino.
Tarantino.
I like Rolling Torino, but yeah, something Tarantino would be good too.
Chest is going to Marcus Aurelius and Remus Romulus.
Hey, Mr. Miracle, what is the CGTC? I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. What is a
Yeah, I saw that too.
CGTC? Enlighten me, sir. I'm not sure what the hell that is. But I'm glad. Hey,
don't think
you're
he knows
welcome.
either.
I'm honored to be your favorite YouTuber if that's the case. But I have no idea what a CGTC is. You're gonna have to enlighten me, sir.
Yeah,
Because
I'm working on when the weather warms up again, I'm working on having a pool to broadcast from on a regular basis. So.
right. No, I have to say, Nick, you gave me a whole nother perspective. Because you're right.
What I do.
Well, no, when you were talking about like older shows and nobody watches them and all that shit,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I had to get up, go to the restroom and, pee. And I was like sitting there thinking about what you just said. And I'm like, man, motherfuckers haven't watched, like the first few episodes of the Salt Lake Sit Down. They haven't. They haven't watched them in years. And I'm like, and maybe I said some stupid shit. I don't remember because it's been like 3-4 years. Nobody's watching it. And I'm like, fuck them. If you weren't there, I guess you don't get it. There's a couple episodes that still get watched. The episode I did with Carl and Jack, well, there's 2 episodes I did with Carl. They still get hits that it's like, yeah, I'll leave them motherfuckers up. But some of the other shit, I'm like, maybe I need to take one from Nick and be like, yeah, I'm going to just make this shit private. And if you, if I know you like McTubus or here's the fun one. I was listening to an episode where maybe you, Nick, and Bull will remember when we were calling McTubus Sigtubus. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
I actually was listening to that on Spotify earlier today when I was dumping my truck. And I was like, oh my God, that was hilarious. The whole Sigma, masculinity is the new misery or misery is the new masculinity thing.
Yeah.
God, my God, this goes back like 9 months. And I was listening to it and I was like, oh shit, man, we had some fucking moments. There was some good times, it's not McTubus, it's Sigtubus, but I was listening to that, but I got thinking, maybe, just maybe I need to fucking make this shit private too. If you weren't there, I guess you had to be there, that it's like, wow, how does Rob have all these subscribers and he's got 12 videos?
Well, I mean,
maybe.
A part of this is also that, I had a lot of those Monday night streams I did that were actually on specific topics. I made all those private too, and those actually did continue to get views.
Yeah.
Because they were topic focused. So, people would search for, Second Amendment or crypto or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the topic was.
And they would find that. But I was like, who fucking cares?
Fuck them.
That's right. Everybody else is out there being helpful. I don't want to be helpful.
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe I need to take one from your page.
I like the, one of the reasons I like doing this with you guys is I like the spontaneity, and I like the fact that, we don't know really going into a night what we're really going to talk about all
Right.
that
We
much.
talk about nothing.
And sometimes we rehash the same old shit, and then sometimes we go down, blaze a completely new path, and I like that, but
No,
What we should do, what I think we should do is actually start another channel on YouTube
No,
where we just
no.
just do disinformation to people.
No, you're going way out of you're getting way out of your lane there, Bull. Crayons. No.
I mean, it really
Dante's remark about you start a Patreon, everyone pays $5 to watch these streams and they get full archive on the thing. I like that better.
Yeah, I can see doing that.
Because I already have a Patreon and I can just upload that shit there and then set up a tier and say, okay, here's the standard tier that everybody, you pay me $1 or whatever to buy me a beer. But you want to see all the bullshit that went on before? You $5-10, man. There you go. Then you get the whole archive. I like his idea better.
Doing OnlyFans.
Well, it goes back.
I have one of those too, Bull.
It goes back to the, I'm selfish. So, this is not about me bringing value to you. This is about you bringing value to me. So that would tie in well with that, because if somebody really wanted it that, bad enough to pay $5 a month or whatever to see it, then, it's not really about the money so much. It's about, you willing to take the time, to put some skin in the game, and if we're going to show up here, for 2 hours every week, and try to have a party, then the least you can do is either show up or pay for some of the beer. So,
right. No, Dante's on to something, which is fucking ironic because that Misery is the Masculinity episode, which again is almost a year old. Dude, we've come full 360 because we come full circle, because we were dropping gems on that one. That I'm like, oh shit, we were talking about merch. You were talking about the next episode of Punch Riot when you were doing that. All that shit. I'm like, oh shit, I remember this. And then now I'm like, yeah, fuck all these guys. I think I like Dante's model better. It's like, yeah, I think I might be deleting a lot of videos here real quick.
Yeah. I just kind of decided to, go private with it, and then, see what happens. Cause I didn't want to delete it either. Cause I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go back and, maybe watch some, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, and this is like with I'm a sentimental guy in terms of, my thoughts about my family, my friends,
Right.
my kids. But as far as just like keeping a lot of shit around,
fuck it.
I've got a couple of things that, that were my kids, or, that my kids gave me that, I have in a box here in the house that I never ever look at.
A box, not a house full, a box.
And it's a small box.
Yeah.
And, I used to make fun of my ex-wife because she had, multiple bins of pictures and clothes and all this other stuff. And she was always,
that's women. Yeah.
She was, well, here's the funny thing. She was always so particular about that stuff. And she always, will you make me a shelf so I can display this and whatever else. And the funny thing is that when she and I divorced, and she was going through stuff that she wanted to take, she took almost none of that stuff.
Exactly.
She left almost all of it behind, which
really
I could wax philosophical on women's sentimentality.
Yeah, it's not that they're not that sentimental. Yeah.
Once the balloon goes up and they're out the door, it's a different story. At least it was in my case. And so I just always thought that was funny, because I used to make fun of her every time we moved. I was like, hey, why don't we get rid of some of this stuff, or give some of the clothes to relatives?
No, can't do that.
and then she was, so I used to make fun of her for we're always, we're dragging these, this train of sentimentality behind us from house to house and city to city as we move through life. And then she's the one who, took off and didn't even want to, keep any of it really. She took a few pictures. That was about it. So, and she didn't even take the pictures that she had been saving all this time. She had boxes of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she went through and she got a small handful that she scanned in. Obviously none of them had me in it.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
And that was the end of that shit. I was like, all right.
All right, dude. No. Oh my God. You brought up a good point.
And now that, and the other thing is that now that we're divorced, aside from her wanting to go see the grandbaby, she's mostly off doing her own thing. She has some interaction with the kids, but it's not, she's all about the new family, the new husband, the new this, the new that, and
her new life. Yep.
And her attitude has been, at least to some degree, because I have at least one son who's, just like, hey, you do your own thing, but don't expect me to come, running after you, throwing tinsel and bonbons about it, because I could give a shit less. I got my own life to live, and so they hardly even talk at all anymore, just because her attitude is like, well, you just need to come running after me now, because this is my new life, so you need to come join me in my new life. And my kid's like, fuck that, I got my new life, you come running after me, bitch.
Oh my God, you just summed up in about a minute, Nick, my entire life with my extended family on both sides. You just summed it up. Where I'm like, hey, I get it. The road's paved both ways. I could reach out, but hey, motherfucker, you could reach out to me too. Did they ever? No. All right. See you in the next life. Whatever. Same
That's
shit.
Right. Colleen is down there bringing up I don't have any
girl.
I don't have a butt woman, but my ex-wife is kind of butt woman because I basically married her because she had a great ass.
Right. Well, at least you're honest.
Be careful, boys. Don't do that.
There it is. She had, you remember the movie Heat with Val Kilmer, Robert De Niro, and what's his name?
Pacino.
Al Pacino. Yeah. And Al Pacino was the good guy. And Robert De Niro was the bad guy. And Al Pacino said, she had a great ass. That totally
watch that again.
Yes, dude, that is one of the, if you ever want to see, because in the past Al Pacino typically played a bad guy, he was very versatile. Robert De Niro kind of played more of the good guy, and Val Kilmer, he could kind of do both. But if you ever want to watch a movie that's kind of a mind fuck character-wise, actor-wise, and you get to see, wow, it's Al Pacino being a good guy and Robert De Niro being a bad guy. And, Val Kilmer's Val Kilmer. That's fine. But you watch that, and then you watch the shootout scene when they're leaving the bank.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah.
That was the best fucking scene ever. It was like 5 minutes long, but I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I remember Al Pacino, when they grabbed the dude who was fucking the wife of Val Kilmer's character, and he's like, she's got a great ass. And it's like, that's it. That's, I thought of you, Nick. I was like, oh, that's why Nick got married, because she's got a great ass.
Yeah,
hey, thank you, Paul.
I'm not saying I should have. I'm just saying that's what I did. And when you're an ass man anyway, and you're young in your 20s, and you meet a chick, you've got your basic blue pill mindset more or less, and you meet a chick that's 8 years, 9 years younger than you, with
she's got a great ass.
Great ass.
That's right.
Then that's kind of shit you do.
Oh, hey, Paul just got confirmed. Okay. Not that McTubus wasn't already on top of it, because I know McTubus. He was on top of it. But yes, he was on with me and Hawk earlier. So absolutely, I'll confirm it. That's Paul. Okay. That's not some rando.
That's legit, Paul.
That's the real Paul right there. Yep. Because he was on with me and Hawk earlier. Yep. Right before I
The
came
real-
here, actually. So
The
gotcha.
real seaman
Gotcha,
first
bro.
class.
That's
Great
not.
ass.
He
Hey,
wasn't
nothing
asking.
wrong with tits
That
and
he's
ass.
floating.
I
he's
like them
messing
both.
with-
I like legs and ass are probably my
I like
two
it all.
weak. Oh, I do
I like it all,
too.
dude.
But
I
you
like
know,
it all.
smaller boobs, bigger boobs, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm good with whatever. But man, you got legs and you got an ass. Oh,
Nice. There's a wider range of nice tits than there are and for me anyway, than there is a nice ass. So, you know, an ass that really gets my attention is a very specific kind of thing. Whereas, you
I
know,
have to bounce a quarter off it.
you can have small tits, you can have big tits. You know, there's a wider parameter of what I find, you know, what I find arousing in the tit area that doesn't apply to the ass area. So,
Dude,
And-
if I can bounce a quarter off that ass, that's the ass for me.
yeah.
Whether
Well,
it's
see, the thing
bigger,
is, that kind of
smaller, it's gotta be
that kind of ass takes work, though. That's why you don't see as that many good asses in the wild. You
Well-
usually see a lot of good tits, but tits don't take work that much, you know.
well, and
Unless
a
it gets surgery.
doctor can give you great tits, right? That's what
yeah.
not that I'm against, you know, surgical enhancement. It's like, no, I'm
Oh
okay
no,
with
no.
I'm okay with playing with fake titties. They're just as good as real titties. I'm good. But an ass
The
that's
fuck is
either
this guy say, dude?
she's
Gotta
got to
look like she's stuck
basketball.
basketball in
I don't know, douche.
front or back, bro. Front or back. Fucking dork.
See, my ex,
Oh, God.
my ex hit the genetic lottery as far as that went. All she had to do was stay relatively lean. And for me, you know, the body and particularly the ass was perfect. And, you know, she did that right up until about the time we got divorced. And then, you know, it was starting to slide. And I was, you know, like most guys, I was willing to make an exception because she's the mother of my kids. But, you know, things went far enough awry that, you know, once she was ready to go, it was like,
Well, see, that's what you gave her an inch, and she took a few pounds.
well, I mean, you're not wrong, but you know, and then she let, you know, my my parting thought, which I did not communicate to her, but which I, you know, did have, was I got her in her prime.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
you know, and she was, you know, when we got married,
Yes.
I was 28, she was 20 when we got married. So I had it, you know, I had her in her prime, and then, you know, shit went where it went. So, but you know, I would admonish all of you, you know, bright-eyed young men out there, don't marry a woman just because of her ass. Probably ain't gonna work out.
Well, no, because we
you
all
marry her
got-
because of her beef Wellington. If her beef Wellington's
right.
on point, then you marry her.
That's right. Marry her for the beef Wellington.
If
You
the
marry,
beef
you
Wel-
marry
if-
her for marry for soup and tits.
Mhm.
if she doesn't get the beef Wellington down in 10 tries, you know, and she's not even willing to try, first of all, that's the first, you know, big, you know, red flag for marriage. And the second one is, if she can't get a decent beef Wellington down in 10 tries, then she's probably not wife material.
She belongs to the streets.
Yeah.
She belongs to the
Dude,
streets.
there it is.
See you
She
later, KZ.
belongs to the street. Yeah, see you, KZ. Now, for, you know, if we're gonna, you know, go into particulars for a moment, I have to admit, mine is, I mean, I love an ass that I can bounce a quarter off. That doesn't mean it's a big ass. It's actually probably not that big, as long as it's kind of quasi teardrop shaped. I'm good enough as long as I can bounce a quarter off that shit. But really, for me, it's the legs. It's like that taper down to the ankle, no cankle bullshit going on. That shit gets me going. But that's me. You know, I guess I'm a leg man. It's like, you know, the belly dancer. She has a great ass. It's not a great ass, as Al Pacino would say. It's not that great. But it's okay. She's got a good ass. It's firm. I could bounce a quarter off it.
Don't
But
have
it's
to flog her off of it.
You make a good point, though, that, you know, you're not, you know, a great ass does not exist in a vacuum.
Mm-mm.
So, you know, there's, you know, you don't really see a great ass if the legs aren't, you know.
No, the legs
there.
have to be there for me because I've dated cankles. I've dated a couple of women where, man, they had the ass, they had the tits, they had the belly, whatever, you know, they had the hourglass shape, but then they had cankles. Okay, which is a genetic thing. It's not a lifestyle food thing or a lack of exercise. It's genetic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh shit, that's a problem. Okay. For me, it's that tapered, you know, it's like almost down to a pencil point. It's the ballerina ankle that it's like, oh, you got those legs and you got those ankles. So I can't bounce a quarter off your ass, but I can bounce a dime. Okay. Oh, your tits they're not phenomenal, but man, more than a mouthful or a handful is a waste.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I can live with that. Oh, you got some stretch marks on your belly. You got a little bit of a pooch. That's fine. You got the fucking legs and the ankles that, you know, make up for it. Hey, I'm good. I'm good. That's me.
The thing that I really have a hard time with is, you know, aside from everybody who's way out of the range, like, you know, the obese chicks with rolls and shit, which,
Yeah,
you know, that
the
I
gun.
can't go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the gun.
I've dated a lot of skinny fat women
Same.
who proportionally they're normal size, but they just have a lot of soft flesh and skin.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
they're supposed to be really skinny, but they just started out so skinny that they gained a lot of weight, and then they look normal. But then when you actually get in there and start digging around, it's a little bit of a mess.
You're right.
Skin
Oh,
suit.
there's two things you need to bring up. Come on. You need to bring up Paul's comment where he said, "Are you inspired to slap it? Wood." That one. Okay. There. Right there. That's up there with yours, Bull. If she gets your dick hard, she's a 10. Are you
Yeah.
inspired?
I'm always inspired to slap a girl's
I'll
ass.
agree with that.
So
He's keeping it real. Okay, he's keeping it real. But going back to Nick about the fluffy, as I call it.
Yeah.
Fluffiness.
Right. Which this is why.
Marshmallow fluff.
Yeah. Okay. This is why, or as Fort Worth Playboy calls it, maximum density. Okay. I loved it when he brought that shit around. That when he's talking about like their biceps, their shoulders, maximum density. Okay. I've been with those women that they were height weight proportionate, as you put it, Nick. Okay. But I actually like a woman that's firm. She doesn't have to be jacked or big or anything like that. Just when I fucking grab her shoulders, I don't want to sink in like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
I want to be able to grab it and be like, oh, these are firm. Okay. And that's where like the belly dancer, she's fit. She's in good shape. And a lot of guys, oh, you're dating a dude. And, okay, so what? You want a marshmallow? You want a fat girl? Because that's in essence what you're talking about. I like a woman where.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
to the thing is, like, I've seen pictures of your girl. She's got a dancer's physique.
Yeah, she
and
does.
you like it's obvious. Like if you look at the girl, you look at her shoulders and stuff, and you look at her physicality.
Oh, but she's got
her
lats, bro.
She does. Yeah,
But
girls
they
got
weren't.
lats,
They
bro.
weren't
What are you
like.
going to do?
They weren't. They weren't even. They
No.
weren't even woman weightlifter lats. 'Cause I
No.
saw the
No,
picture too.
no.
She's
She
not
was
a
just.
woman weightlifter.
She was lean and feminine. And,
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's very.
But
See, that's
she's-
I think that's the
what
problem
she
too. Like
does
guys have been
is
seeing
firm.
girls. Guys are used to seeing girls that are overweight, and so when they see like an actual toned up girl that like a dancer physique or a gymnast physique, they're like, "Oh, this girl's a fucking bodybuilder." Or she looks like a dude. It's like, no, that's the way girls supposed to look
Right.
for a lot of girls. But because
Right.
you've been banging or looking at a bunch of fatties, you know, that's what you've been conditioned to think that, you know, that's a conditioning
chances are the dude that didn't like that is probably a fat ass himself.
Well, he couldn't.
Oh,
get
there were a lot of them.
like that.
There were a lot of them, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. And Paul has met the belly dancer. Well, I've met Nurse Chick. So yeah, he can vouch. She's not a dude. Exactly. Okay. We met, we had breakfast. It was a good time. Okay. So yeah, he's met her in person, just like I've met Nurse Chick. And I'm like, all right, nice. You know, to each their own. But that's just the funny part where I've always been more attracted to women that were what I would call firm. They're not, you know, bulked up and jacked and ripped, and they look like the women that are on steroids and they're, you know, professional bodybuilders and they're flexing for the show. No, but I like a woman who's firm. That if I grab her ass, I grab her waist, I grab her shoulder, her forearm, whatever. It's firm. It's not my fingers sink in and it's like, wow, oh my God, I can almost feel, you know, your forearm, or I can feel your fucking whatever the bone is that's where your bicep and your tricep connect. This section here. Okay. It's fucking firm. And who was it? Where are you at? Ultra Humanite. Was it you? No, it wasn't you. It was Brother Blood. All right, buddy. Are my shoulders firm, or is he a hypocrite?
Jesus.
I love you guys. I really do.
Why
Why
does he care?
Well, yeah. Why do you care is the first question. What do you give a
That's
fuck?
kind of gay sounding. That's kind of a gay question. bro.
Kinda, sorta. Yeah, it's a little homo, but all right. I'm gonna just say this.
Get your sock out.
Yeah, no shit. I'm gonna just say this, okay? I've had plenty of women when they reached around, grabbed my arms, grabbed my waist, whatever, and they went, "Holy shit, you're solid."
Where the fuck are my wrenches at? Can we time out the homos around?
No shit. Bacon
What
is
the
Bacon
fuck?
a wrench.
Yeah, he's a wrench.
Bacon,
noticed it.
get on that.
I've noticed it lately,
Bacon.
and
the
they seem to be more prevalent
Don't
on
ban
your
'em.
channel.
Just time them out.
On your channel, Bull.
Yeah,
But
just
I've noticed
time 'em out.
lately we've been getting a lot more retards around here for some reason.
It's
Some
probably
fucking
because
autists
of
around
me.
here.
I'm just saying it's probably because of me, because you know, once
Mr.
I hit
1K.
that yeah, thank you, Bull. Thank you. Once I hit that magic number, the retards start showing up. That's all
God
I'm
damn
gonna,
it.
which is why it's probably better that you decided to retire, Nick. Oh, thank you,
Nick,
Mick. All right,
Nick
Mick,
knew when to hold him, and Nick knew when to hold him, dude. Nick knew when to go out.
Mick,
that's right.
when Mick's here, he's usually on the ball if he's not asleep.
Yeah, he's pretty good. You know what, Zachary? You're probably not wrong. That's what I mean. It's like, goddamn, you know, you hit that magic number and all the fucking idiots show up.
Plus, there's all these dudes pretending to be chicks,
Right.
like Colleen.
Oh, shit. Paul's calling it right now. It was the Tard Telethon. It probably was.
Telethon.
Paul. Wow. When I did the Tard Telethon, that was like
Retire.
What, oh, that's good,
Retire.
Dante. That's good. I'm gonna remember that when the
You're-
return guys. I'm gonna be like, retire.
You're
I'm
supposed to
gonna-
use 3s for the E's and an L for the I instead of a V.
Hey, you know what? That's
But he's
enough.
he's
good enough.
Filipino, so we can't expect him to be good
Yeah,
with
we'll
English.
have to give him a pass.
I love it.
He only speaks Tagalog and Python.
Oh, Betty's floating thoughts is saying she's a real woman. Bullrush, can you confirm this? Because she's tagging you.
Yeah, she's a real girl. Yeah,
That's a real girl. Okay. Hey, I don't know. I'm not going on the offense. I like women.
And Pinocchio
She's
was a
not a-
real boy.
She's not a deep fake.
Okay, she's not a deep fake. She doesn't have six
She's
fingers.
not a deep fake.
So it's
No,
just
no.
so far. So you're saying it's just Colleen and Jennifer that are the fake women?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's
They might be
another-
the same person too.
I mean, their name is Legion, for they are many.
It's kind of like simps.
Oh, damn.
Ooh,
Oh,
they're not that bad.
that's funny shit.
I mean,
Yeah, but they're legion.
Yeah, well, they are.
so
We're
else.
gonna get rid of them.
He's Filipino.
Yeah,
Well, you
That's
are
the only one we need. Like, what else do we need? That's it. We don't need any new shit. You're Filipino. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, Colleen, you have to understand, okay? There are no women on the internet. That's just the go-to response. All right. It's one of those, you have to go back to the Reddit days and the long form blogs that there are no women until it's tits or get the fuck out. Okay.
My question is, if she's a deep fake, is it really mansplaining?
Is it?
I don't know.
God damn. Every now and
If Colleen's
I
you
will say this:
pray on and you get philosophical. Jeez.
if Colleen is a real woman and she's familiar with the Dog Fart Network, then I need to talk to her.
Same.
There's
Same here.
we need to straighten some
What-
things out.
Yeah, I got some fucking questions if that's the truth. Got him right in the Filipino. Now that's Paul. That's for sure.
now, if you want to be a pick me girl, mention a dog fart network. It works every time.
Oh shit. Ultra Humanite, you're all right, bro. You're okay. We're all just having fun. It's all good. I got, there's wrenches that are like, say when. That's
Good,
all I
yeah.
know.
Well,
There's guys that are trigger happy, but
I mean,
we're cool.
pay attention to something. The guys that are actually out there getting laid, like and Dante.
Yeah, Dante's gotten a
With
few.
whatever's going on with him. But once Dante, got himself out there and started doing the Lord's work, he's not hung up on numbers. He's not really hung up on anything. He's still rough around the edges, but he's just mainly out there, plugging
I know
away
where Dante's at. He's at Pussy.
on his mission trip. And he's doing the Lord's work out there and trying to make as many women happy as possible, which is
Well, it
a
goes
good
back
thing
to
for a young man to be doing.
It goes back to the to what I mentioned sometimes about the 500 fight allegory from Knockaround Guys. And it's like this guy's like 500 fight. He thought if he get in 500 fights in his life that he would be a hard ass. And he said halfway along the way, or whenever he got to those 500 fights, the number didn't matter anymore. He already knew it. He didn't. In eventuality, he didn't need the 500 fights to
Right.
validate himself.
Most guys aren't fucking. I mean, they're just not.
Yes, yeah.
That's why I said, how many women did you meet in 2022? 0, 1, 2, 5. And that's the point. You guys just fucking made my point. It's like we're conflating experience with women with talking about women. It's like, hey, once you've had whatever the number is, and it's going to be different for every guy. Now, granted, you're a dude like Matt Walsh, and I married my high school sweetheart, or Jordan Peterson. I married my high school dude. Sit down. you don't have enough experience.
Yeah, you're not a part of the conversation at all.
Right. You get to sit down and shut the fuck up. But when you've had, I don't know, 3, 5, 10, whatever it is, you'll figure it out. And Dante's about there. He's close. He's on the cusp that he's going to be like, oh, well, okay. This isn't that big a deal.
Well,
And
most
I'm like,
guys
yes.
most guys would rather not fuck a 10 than fuck a bunch of 5s.
Right.
And that's where they're all at. And you can tell when they talk about it on the internet. It's just obvious. It's like, you know, if you're an experienced woodworker and you get into a conversation with somebody about woodworking, you can tell whether they've actually, you know,
Fucking made something with wood. All right.
they've got experience with dado joints and, you know, all that kind of shit. And you know, it ends up being obvious. And, you know, most guys, when they talk about chicks on the internet, they're just, you know, they're basically bragging about, you know,
Bull,
never-
if you're
I've-
around, you need to put Dante's comment up.
I've never fucked a 10, and that's basically what their identity is.
Right.
I'm holding out for a 10 is the same thing as I've never fucked a 5. You know, it's like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. Well, apparently Bull's not around. I need him to put Dante's comment up because there it is.
Bull's a piece of shit.
There it is. Thank you. It might not be the number for me, Rob. It might be the frequency that I'm easily able to get. And there it is. That's it. That's it. You get enough where you're not thirsty, and then you get a little more of connoisseur shit where you're like, well, hey, I got this on lock. What else can I get? Okay. And then you start striving. You start kind of pushing the envelope. You start, you know, I'm going out of my league. You know, you start swinging for the fence or the fucking, you know, the sign in the back just to see what would happen because, hey, I got the frequency down.
Well, Paul's right. I mean, it's like a lot of guys, you know, hey, my first my first car was a Pinto, you know. That's how I married my high school sweetheart. My first car was a Pinto, and I've kept it up all my life.
My first car was a Bugatti, you know. Yeah, no shit.
Pinto, if you're not, you know, my Pinto, you know, I'll put my Pinto up against your, you know, 10 whatever else is any day of the week. I mean, that's the mentality. If you haven't been out there and driven a lot of different cars, how do you know whether your Pinto is a piece of shit or not?
Yeah.
It's the only thing you know. And every friend I have that's really happily married and has you know, the proper kind of, you know, relationship with his wife. They're all people who went out there and drove as many cars as they could because that's how they figured out what the right car was. And if you don't have that experience, you're just going on, you know, you're just going on faith and hope, and faith and hope are kayfabe. That's not really real stuff.
But they do make good stripper names.
Well, that's a good point. If your spiritual, you know, if your spiritual goal can also be a stripper's name, then it's probably not a real thing. Faith, hope, chastity. if your morality is based around, you know, names that strippers use, then you're probably on the wrong track.
It's the same with the guys who's, you know, PHP. Okay.
Same with the guys. They don't like PHP. Yep.
Pretty much.
PHP is just a cheesy scripting language that happened to have, you know, basically, you know, built the internet as we know it, because everything is. That's right.
Bring the Chilton manual to the bar. Yeah.
O'Reilly. For those of you that don't know, O'Reilly was a publisher that was basically the Chilton manual of code back in the day, before there was the internet, before there was Stack Overflow and all that shit.
Dude,
It
I
was
have
like-
some of those books, believe it or not. Yep.
I had a ton of them, and the thing about it was they'd revise them every year, so that you
God.
always had to.
Always
know,
get
you're-
the next revision. Yep.
And yeah, so everybody, PHP is supposed to be a cheesy, easy little scripting language, but
Hey, speaking of scripting, that's what all the, you had the elite hackers that made the Trojans or whatever, the viruses, and then it was the script kiddies that would, take them and tweak them or whatever to beat the antivirus. Same idea, Nick. I know where you're going.
Oh, really?
I'm glad you do.
Is that how it worked?
I'm glad somebody does.
I get it. No, O'Reilly's was the Chilton's manual, but there ain't no shame in that.
Dude,
Because
most of
I have
the
a bunch of them too.
Well, most of the, back in the early days when, most dynamic sites were either run off of PHP and MySQL, or if it was really old, off of fucking Perl
Yeah.
and whatever
Perl.
database. And then obviously, there was the Microsoft shit mixed in there too. But, when Stack Overflow came along, you didn't have to learn to design code and to design any have anything structural and really know your shit. All you had to be able to do was copy and paste a bunch of Stack Overflow shit, and then know just enough to be able to alter it, change it, tweak it a little bit, and make it work in your context. And that's, like it or not, that's really what built the internet as we know it now, because everything, there's probably not an answer, there's probably not a code block or anything that you can't find on Stack Overflow these days. And
Roman,
so,
I got 272,000 miles out of your mom. I didn't even use the manual.
Jesus. God damn. That's cold, bro.
Yeah. I learned it from you.
You learned it from me or from my mom? Or my grandma?
Yes. Talk about, what is this? What is this shit? 1337 H. I have no idea. That's some gay sailor lingo or something.
PHP and Python have built the internet. I would argue that it's PHP. PHP did it, and then Python and Ruby and other shit came along and sort of upgraded what was already there. But you're not wrong.
Well, I'm trying to bring them back, Roman.
There's a hidden gift inside. What are condoms?
Well, what are condoms, dude? Trojan is a piss poor name for a condom brand, if you think about it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I never thought about
Well, they
that
have Durex.
before.
Durex is another one. Only real hackers know. Okay. Computer nerd shit. That's all you had to say, bro. Computer nerd shit. Well, Roman, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like everyone's so uptight. That's what that's kind of like the subject matter of the stream tonight is like people don't know how to have fun anymore. They're too fucking uptight and shit. They're too uptight. They can't fucking relax. They don't know how to take a joke. They don't know how to give one.
Well, think about what passes for the manosphere on social media. 90% of everybody in there is just some dick who showed up looking for a fight.
Well, I'm not even talking about the manosphere. I'm talking about like even women too. They don't.
Whatever.
They're fucking spurgs.
Well, I don't really, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about women, but
Not gonna argue that.
you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that, I'm thinking mainly in terms of dudes and how they fuck shit up, and most of the time they're either looking for an argument or a fight right from the start. I mean, hell, last week somebody's trying to kick up shit about Rolo and about Mish and about 10 other things last week. I don't remember who they were, but
No, I have an idea. But
it's
yeah,
like even on even on our stream, which is about as unmanosphere as you can get, you still got dudes showing up wanting to pick a fight about something we don't even care about.
yeah,
So,
about shit that doesn't matter.
all right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Ryan
That's
Stone
smart.
said this, and then you said this, and then they said
Hey,
this, and I'm like,
Hey, Nick, did you know that 30% of men under 30 aren't having sex?
30%.
Well, whatever. I'm just pulling statistics out of my ass because that's what's on the internet.
Yeah.
Why do I care? I'm not under 30 and I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I
Well,
like
it's
what
like
I like what Sass brings up here because the so-called manosphere, as people use it, 99% of it's all drama.
Oh yeah,
Even look at Fresh and Fit. That's all drama.
it is.
That's all men doing drama, and all the beefs are drama.
Oh yeah,
You see,
it's all manufactured outrage.
The only thing good about women being in the men's space is that the cat fights are better when there's actually women involved.
Yeah, when they actually get involved in their practice. It's like, oh, hey, woman confirmed. All right, run some game on her. Just for fun, just to practice. Get your chops sharp,
Well, at least when women are fighting, a titty might fall out or something.
Right.
When dudes are, dudes on the internet who are beefing, they're basically slap fighting each other.
Yay. That's all it is. It is. It's all bullshit and nonsense. That's all it is. It's like, who fucking cares? Hey, did you see that this guy and that guy are going to get together in the ring? Yeah, welcome to 2017.
You guys laugh about slap fights. There's actually a competition out there with slap fighting now. The guy who
the guy. All right. Keep
yeah,
going.
the guy who does who does MMA.
The guy,
the CEO guy. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but yeah, he started a new competition called slap fighting. You basically get two dudes or two women fucking slap each other. Do you take turns slapping each other?
Oh, I've seen that shit. That shit is hilarious. Hey,
yeah,
Paul, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Are you and the others going to back up Jack?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I have
Josh
no idea.
What did Dutchie do now?
I knew the last
Dana
name was
White.
White.
Yeah,
Wasn't it? I don't even know what the hell's going on.
No, Dana White's the MMA guy.
No, I know who he is. I know who Dana White is, but I don't know what this jock strap incident is.
The jock strap incident?
Why is this important to me?
Did Dutchie put the jock strap on backwards or?
Yeah, right. Was he flopping his dick out and he put the cup part of the restraining part around his asshole?
Look,
what's going on?
I need to make a little thing to the chat holes out here. Look,
oh, okay.
we follow these guys, and every once in a while we watch some of their content. It's not we don't watch their shit on the daily like you guys do. We're busy doing shit. Okay?
Right. I gotta work. I gotta eat. Gotta sleep. Gotta fuck. Fake Paul. Okay.
I'm not gonna back anybody up on the internet.
No, I'm not your personal fucking army.
I'm not gonna back up Rob on the internet because A, Rob can take care of himself, and B, if Rob cares about what some dickless shithead on the internet says, then Rob and I can't be friends anymore.
Right. Well, there's that ultimately.
Well, I just go back to what's in it for me,
Well, and there's Frame right there. The praxeology book that Ryan wrote. What's in it for me? And so, yeah, there you have it. I don't care. You know what, Bull? You need to wrench.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
That way we know the real Paul, you know, this, you know, well, the real Paul's please stand up. Please stand up.
Yeah.
Please stand up. Yeah.
That's
Wrench
another reason I
Paul.
quit hosting. I'm tired of wrenching people.
I think Paul's a wrench on my channel. I'll have to check next week, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Somebody asked me, that's one of the straws that broke the camel's back, because somebody came on the stream one time and asked me to wrench them on my channel. I was like, I banned them. Don't ask me to wrench you, boy.
Well, there's that. If you have to ask, you don't get it. But in this case, because of the context, it makes sense.
I popped into that Digital Ryan stream this morning, or yesterday morning, one morning this week. I don't remember. And because I'd never seen it before, so I was just curious what it was all about. So I went in there and made a couple smart ass comments. And then, you know, then people were in there like, well, that's not the real Nick August because he's not a wrench. And I was like, why would I be a wrench in Digital Ryan?
Same here. Yeah.
First of all, I'm never there. Second of all, I don't want to be a wrench anywhere. I don't give a shit. So,
right. Well,
I mean,
I ended up, you know, Ryan wrenched me on his main channel, but I'm not a wrench on his digital one because I barely catch him because it's like, I got shit to do. It's cool. He's doing Minecraft or whatever the fuck he's doing. That's great. But I don't have time. I got shit to do.
Well, I mean,
shit
you do make a good point that it is a way to sort of, when you got so many people on here making fake accounts of real people now, that it does make sense to kind of do that just so you can know who to ban or time out. You know,
right.
People come in pretending to be
whomever,
pretending to be Nick August, and you know, they're not the real Nick August. I don't want to get blamed for their shit.
If somebody fucking like, you know, screenshotted me and created a fake account, I'd almost be flattered. But it's like, hey, is that the real Rob? You know, I'd almost be flattered. Oh, wow, look at this motherfucker pretending to be me.
Well, there used to be that guy that, you know, his account name was Nick August Liquor Cabinet, which I did kind of, I kind of like that one.
It's a hat tip. That one,
right.
Right.
That's okay. That's a homage. So
yeah, right. That's how I look at it too. You know, Zachary brought up a good point. He said, real talk though, I used to think you guys were all one united coalition. Zachary, you're going to figure out, if you haven't already, we never were, we never will be, and we never was. Okay. I like Nick. I like Bull, Ryan, Dante. I don't wish ill will on any of them. And guys I've met face to face in person, yeah, I got a little more, you know, skin in the game. So yeah, Vince, TJ, Aaron, even as much shit as I like to throw at him, I've met these guys in real life. Okay, Bull, I've met him in real life. All right. So yeah, I got a little more skin in the game, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's about me. It's Team Rob. It's Team me. Okay. And it doesn't mean I'm going to, you know, throw you guys under the bus or wish you ill will. Nah, not at all. But at the same time, I'm not your personal army. We're not a band of brothers, man. You know, you're a guy that goes up on the internet.
I have one question though.
All right. One.
This is one question.
One question.
As the leader of Let 'Em Burn, what is our mission statement?
You're the leader of Let 'Em Burn.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't even host it.
No, well, I don't even host it anymore since last fucking week, asshole. God.
Well, I mean, the leader would not walk away from responsibility.
Well, there is a real alpha.
This motherfucker.
Well, there you have it. This is what happens when a leader walks away from real responsibility.
I was wondering how long it would take P-Brain to get to that shit.
Billy, you actually did me and Ryan was pissed. Wow. I didn't know that because, again, I'm not around enough to know. I did not know that. I feel a little flattered and honored that you actually took me on, dude. That's cool. That's how you know you're getting somewhere, kids, is when you got, Billy and some other randos fucking making accounts on you and they piss off the main channel host. That dude, all right, man. I'm somebody.
Well, getting back to Dante's comment, which is a good one. Brotherhood is a temporary coalition. Brotherhood exists to solve a problem that is insurmountable by an individual. So
correct.
So when there are significant problems that somebody or a group needs to address, and they get together and address it, or in certain cases, they may do that on a regular basis for some reason, whether they're all selling drugs together or what else. But for the most part, even most of those dudes, when they get pressed hard enough, they're gonna give up. They're gonna give up their brother.
Yeah. So, ask the mafia.
I don't trust anybody who isn't out for themselves first and will shamelessly admit it, because that's the first step. Not necessarily me trusting you, but in me liking you, is that you're not going to sit there and try and blow smoke up my ass and say, I'm here to make life better for you specifically.
Right. If anything, if I hear that, I'm like, what are you trying to fucking sell me?
Sell me. What are you trying to? And if you're out there and you're like, hey, I'm here to sell you a book that's going to, if you read it and do what it says, it's going to help you. Yeah. All right, fine.
Yeah, but don't make me regret my fucking decision, bro.
That doesn't mean that guy's going to come to your house, when you've got colon cancer, or when your wife's fucking the
pool boy,
the plumber, or the pool boy or whatever, because ain't gonna happen.
Right. Well, and that's how I look at it too. That's there's your I guess final red pill lesson. We're not a brotherhood. This isn't a band of brothers and we're all a coalition. It is every man for himself. Not that we're going to try and actively fuck over another guy, but you're going to do you, which goes back to the title of this show. What we started out with, let them burn. Okay. Oh, this guy's going to do some stupid shit. Fuck it. Let him figure it out. Okay. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to go, do you think that's a good idea? If guys show up to me and go, hey, I'm going to do this, what do you think? Go for it. Even though I have a different experience, that it's like, maybe, just maybe you're that outlier. Maybe you're the guy that works for, because God knows there's been enough stupid shit I've done that worked out for me, but I wouldn't recommend it to Bull, to Nick, to any of you guys in the chat. I wouldn't recommend it if I think that's a pretty good idea, you probably ought to run, because, hey, it worked for me, but that I'm not guaranteeing it's going to work for you, bro. You got to figure it out. It's your life. Dante and I have had this talk. Mish and I have had this talk. There's been a bunch of other guys I've had this talk with that I'm like, you're asking me to be the voice of reason? Really?
We've had this talk.
All right. Yeah. Me and Bull have had this talk where he's like, bro, what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, sounds like a pretty good idea. And he's like, yeah, wait. And I'm like, you're asking me to be the voice of reason? And he's like, I don't know, man. And I'm like, hey, it's your life, dude. Do what you got to do. No man can tell another man what to do. And so Bull was like,
My answer is
this over.
My answer with my friends and my kids is always the same. That sounds like a great idea.
Right.
Be sure to get it on video for me.
Right. That's right. Tell me how that works out, bro. Because I love those stories. Those are my favorite. We're gonna do stupid shit anyway. What matters is what stupid shit you're doing. You're picking, right? And Dante can be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this," and I'm like, "Cool." And then he comes back later and he's like, "Oh, damn," and I'm like, "What did you learn?" And he's like, "I learned ABC." All right, cool. Go have fun. Go play. And then other times Dante's like, "Bro, I did this, and guess what? Hey, good for you. I did it too. And you know what? I got my ass burnt. But I'm not Dante, and I don't live where Dante lives. And I'm not doing the way this shit." Or to your bro, "That's right, Dakota rings. God damn it. You know, we're not a brotherhood. We're not a coalition. We're not united other than, hey, I'm looking, I'm trying to do this. What do you guys think? Because
We're not even a cult, despite
No.
what some people call.
we're not even that. We're a bunch of random assholes on the internet that swap some notes. Hey, did you try this bull? Shit, I didn't think about that. Well, hey, I can't promise it'll work. Your mileage will vary, but hey, this worked for me. Try it out. See what you think. And sometimes he goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna try that out." And then if it blows up, he's like, "Yeah, that didn't work." And other times he's like, "Oh shit, that was pretty good. All right, cool." But it is don't eat paint. You got to figure it out. I'm not here to figure it out for you. Nick's not here to figure it out for you. Bull's not here to figure it out for you. You got to figure it out for yourself. And like I said, from my personal perspective, personal perspective, if I think that sounds like a pretty good idea, you probably ought to run.
You probably
Just-
shouldn't do it. That's right.
Yeah, if I'm the voice of reason, you fuckers ought to rethink it when you come back and you go, "Bruh, that didn't work. I'm a scorpion. I sting. What the fuck did you expect?"
You're a drunk piece of shit.
In McTubis,
Right.
McTubis, you're not going to get an attaboy, but what you will get a reply to whenever you DM us. So
Hey,
that's as close as you're going to get.
I've mentioned many times I will never block or eat McTubis, and the reason
Well,
is
why?
because
I
McTubis
deleted him.
is giving me money. So
Whatever
Yeah.
worked, but I've yeeted him, and you know what? And he's given me money too, and I still yeeted him because why not? Because I love him, and that's why I show my love by kicking you fuckers out. If you haven't been yeeted by me, do you really matter?
yeah, Valerie's the other fake chick. I forgot. Colleen, Jennifer,
Yeah.
and Valerie are all the
Well,
fake chicks.
that's I was waiting for Valerie to show up. Do we have confirmation this is the real Valerie, or is this, another Billy impersonation?
The real Valerie is not a chick.
Do you know this for a fact?
Does it matter?
I'm curious.
Yeah.
No, I don't know it for a fact.
Because I'm curious, Valerie and I are probably going to have a conversation one day. Just saying. And then I'll know for certain if Valerie's a woman or if Valerie's full of shit. I'll know this because I'm a curious motherfucker. I'm Dr. Seuss here. I'm the curious cat with a hat, or in this case, a beanie.
If Valerie is truly a chick, then Bull Rush will give her the link for the show. She can come on audio only if she prefers. And we'll be able to tell right away whether that's a chick voice or a dude voice.
Not who I am behind the keyboard. But what I do. All right, you just outed yourself. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's a complete dude fucking response, man.
That is. I like McTubis's follow-up. That one there sums it
God
up.
damn it.
God damn it. Well, I guess Valerie and I aren't going to have that conversation because I already know what the answer is. All right, there we go. Identity confirmed. Because otherwise, I'm that weird motherfucker that, you know, there's been a few others that there's been speculation, and I'm that guy that it's like, oh, you got a stick of dynamite that's already lit. You know, the fuse is going. Here, I'll put it in my teeth. I'll go down that rabbit hole. I don't care. You know, and I was able to either to confirm or deny an identity because fuck it, I'm curious. I got nothing to lose. Oh, well, this one's a dude. Well, I'm gonna go find out. Why not? But Valerie just nailed it. So thanks. All right.
I'm not modding even if I have a rant.
Well,
No.
he's taking the night off.
Dante.
Yeah, I gave him a wrench earlier with Paul.
Dante is going full into his, you know, what's in it for
Lazy
me
panda.
mode.
Yeah, he's doing the lazy panda approach, which is
he's
not
not
wrong.
writing.
But he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No.
But yeah, he's definitely leaning into the I'm the lazy panda. Yeah, he's definitely doing that.
If he's
well,
really
it's kind of like,
why is he not out
having a gun.
fucking instead of listening to this shit right now?
Hey, there's a good point,
Better-
Don.
better-
Why aren't you fucking?
it's better he has it and not need it than need it and not have it.
No, we didn't break the panda, Zachary. We just created a new panda, a stronger, faster, better one, and it was only $6 million.
We created a kung fu panda.
Right.
I like $6 million panda.
Better.
The bionic
The
panda.
bionic panda. We made him
We
better.
created a bionic. We created a bionic panda hole.
Oh man, I need to get that sound clip to put in the soundboard. That
The bionic sound. The
yeah,
jump.
that one.
Lee Majors jumping.
Now I need that fucking sound clip. I gotta go look that up now.
What I like about Dante is I remember reading all the shit, all the field reports he used to post in his surfer. I just read those and they were all just like total cringe, but I had to give him props for at least A, getting out there, and then B, being transparent enough to actually, you know, throw that up there so we could all ridicule him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but then they just started getting sad though. It's like, yeah, I want to talk to this
Cringe
girl, and
shit.
she hit on me. She hit on me, and I didn't do anything. I just left the grocery store.
I just left the grocery store.
He did do this one guy. This girl bagging his groceries was hitting on him. He just left the grocery store. I almost nuked him. Like I wanted to nuke him. I was like,
Nuke him from his own server.
No, this is a different guy on his server.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
Fucking-
I thought you were talking about Dante.
No.
Well, I mean, you know, to be fair, thinking back to my younger days, I mean, the amount of those opportunities that I missed because she was being, you know, she's being nice, you know,
Yeah.
that I wanted to say something and I didn't, and then, you know, when I'm halfway to my car, I was like, oh fuck, I should have said something, you know, at least giving it a shot. And it takes a while to flip that, you know. It takes a while, especially the older you get, because you've just had it ingrained into you that, you know, there's nothing to see here. And then it may be like an hour a day or 10 years later that you realize, oh fuck.
Back in the roaring 20s.
23 skidoo, motherfucker.
Skew.
Hey, you know, you laugh and you make fun, but you know, any chick that dances the Charleston is looking for some dick. That's all I got to say. It looks
put that on a
innocent,
shirt.
but it's not.
Right?
Those chicks, you know, nobody wore a bra. She's being nice was my thing for the longest time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also kind of a cope too.
Yep. Well, it's an excuse. I don't have to risk rejection. She was just being nice.
To cope, kind of like a cope I saw earlier today. This guy was talking about being married and about being about being more the commitment than the sex and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking retard.
That's as soon as you get to that point mentally, it's because you ain't got nothing going on at home.
Exactly.
I have never known a dude who was happy with just the commitment. I mean, there's a, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot to be said for a good marriage. There's a lot to be said for a family that's got its act together, and there is a lot of value there when it actually happens. But most of the time, it's not actually happening. It's just the dude, you know, like you said, coping with whatever.
Yeah, it's one of Paul's retweets. He's retweeted this dude. He's like, yeah. My reply was that like the guy is he's lying to himself if he doesn't think that sexual intimacy with a girl is a cornerstone of a relationship with her.
Right.
Like because it's the only thing that you have in common that you don't have in common with anybody else. Like you're not fucking your sister, you don't fuck your parents, you know, you don't fuck your best friend, you're fucking your girl, dude. It's the only thing.
Yeah, well, you know, hopefully
hopefully
the same thing is true for her.
Yeah,
but chances are if you're not fucking her, somebody else is. And I know that sounds harsh and it sounds cynical, but it only sounds cynical to people who haven't seen it from the other side. And once you've been the other guy, you know, whether you knew it or not.
I'll tell you a quick story. My girlfriend this past Saturday went out to a sports bar with one of her girlfriends for her girlfriend's birthday, and her girlfriend invited two other girls that my girlfriend didn't know. And these two other girls were like in their early 50s, and neither one of them were having sex with their husbands. One of them hadn't had sex with her husband in over a year. The other one hadn't had sex with her husband in several months. And the main reason because she had a side piece. And the other girl that hadn't fucked her husband in like over a year, she was at the bar and stuff. She was like making it overt, like checking out other dudes and shit. Basically being, you know, like a pick-me girl, kind of desperate. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, I'm getting out of here.
The longest I ever went not banging my wife was the 3 weeks before she moved out.
Yeah.
That was by far the longest we'd ever gone. even when she was pregnant and we got to the point where that just wasn't happening, she was still, you know, blowing me and shit.
Well, my ex-wife, she was pregnant. We still had sex up until
we did
up
too,
until
up
about
until
7 months. Up until like 7 months or so.
There came a point where it was just like
she was super horny for the first 6 though. Holy shit. So it's especially like when I see guys that are like their wives or girlfriends are pregnant and they're like, oh, we haven't had sex in like 9 months. Like, I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. It's like
I don't remember her attitude. I remember that the first several months when she first got pregnant, I don't know what it was, but you know, I was like doubly horny after she got pregnant, especially when she started showing it first. And I'm not really sure why, but it was like, oh yeah, it's on. And then it finally came to a point where she just always, because she was only, you know, she wasn't as small as Little Spurg girl, but she was close. She was like, you know, Little Spurg is 5 foot. My ex-wife is 5'2", and you know, she got to the point where she just like, by the time I got home at the end of the day, she was so wiped. That,
well, let me ask you a question, because after about the 3-month mark of my ex-wife being pregnant, to me at least, it seemed her pussy was feeling a little bit different. Not bad, but good in a good way. Like it was hitting different. I don't know.
I don't remember. Well, by the time she started, you know, by the time the baby was getting big, and I don't remember at what point that was, but you know, I'm sure it was after 3 months. you know, all we were doing was doggy style, and you know, that was good for me. So I don't have a thing for pregnant women, but I had a thing for my wife when
Pregnant
she was
wife, yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I understand it or know why, you know, it was whether it was just something different or, you know, and after a while I did kind of start feeling weird about, because when you're sitting there at dinner time and, you know, you can feel the baby kicking in her stomach and everything. And then 30 minutes later, she's on all fours and you're drilling her from behind. You start thinking, you know, well, the kid's in there listening to all this shit. So what's that experience for him like? And it does get kind of weird. Didn't stop me, but it got kind of weird.
You don't think about that shit in the moment though.
I started thinking about it in the moment. I'd be like, huh.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah, I did. I was like, I wonder what this experience is like for him in there. And he's probably, you know, in there, you know, rocking back and forth.
See you later, Paul.
But what does he know? I mean, what does he? He doesn't know what's going on.
Nah.
Yes, you can, Fishman. If they're all fat, you can.
Oh Jesus!
Just saying, if that's your goal, you can. But you better not have anything else going on.
Well, you talk, you know, there's logistics, which of
Right.
course you can
Right.
bang, you know, you can bang 1,000 women in a year.
If you don't sleep, eat, have a
Logistically.
job, all right.
That's another one of those how many angels can dance on the head of a pin questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's abstract shit.
All your
Go out and
knowledge is-
actually do
all-
it. Go out and do it, and then come back and talk to us.
Well, I mean, that gets back to one of the fundamental premises of this show is we don't want theory. We don't want to hear theories. We want to hear stories.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about
Yeah.
the fat chicks you've been banging.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the meth teeth, or
Fishman.
the skin curtains, or whatever it is. That's the shit I want to hear, because that's experience. You know, tell me
in
the
fact,
horror story.
From now on, at least on my channel, if you have a comment in the comment section and it's about fucking women in the abstract, you're gonna get timed out.
Fair.
You're gonna get time the fuck out. I'm tired of listening about it. I'm tired of fucking reading this shit, dude.
Fair enough. Well, I kind of look at it like if you're saying shit that definitely puts you out of contention for us ever sitting down and having a beer together, then you shouldn't be here at all. I mean, why are you here? What the fuck are you doing? Now, if you're a young dude, you earnestly, you know, you have a question, even if it's a dumb one. You know, we all have dumb questions when we were young.
Right.
I get it. But 4 was fat, but that's when I successfully finished. Oh, Jesus.
Hey, that's a real fucking story.
Yeah.
Dude, we've
Yeah.
all had grenades. We've all had slump busters. We've all had skin curtains and meth teeth. We've all been there. And that's the shit that at least to me, I can look at it and go, yeah, you ain't proud, but you fucking did it. You know, you did what needed to be done. And at least that's real. You
No
know?
one talks about the grenade that they fucking threw themselves on, then they went back to though.
Been there, done that.
Nobody talks about the moped.
No one talks
for the
about
second
that,
time.
yeah.
For the second time.
Right.
Or the
Everybody
third time.
about the joke about, you know, what does a moped and a fat girl have in common? They're both fun to ride until your friend sees you. Yeah, except you kept getting back on the moped. Yeah, nobody talks about that. And yet I can sit here and go, I've done it. You know, I'm not proud, but hey, I did it. You know, we've all done it. And that's the shit that I would rather hear about, because it's not going to get you clicks. It's not going to get you likes. It's not going to get you revenue, but that's real. And I'd rather hear about that.
Only bang 9s and 10s, bro.
Well, he's
So-
saying Dante was saying he might be in a fat chicks, and Zachary said he's in the fat chicks, but only the hot ones. Zachary is the gunt strangler.
Maybe he is, but to go off of your line, Bull, if she
Yeah.
gets it dick hard, she's a 10.
Tanner.
Okay. There's been plenty of women in my life that if I were to show photographs or bring her on or whatever it was at the time, and I guarantee everybody in the panel, everybody in the chat would be like, you'd all be like that. You'd all be like, dude. And I'm looking at it going, I don't care. She got my dick hard because of whatever the reason was. And so I gave up worrying about what is my parents going to think? What are my friends going to think? I'm like, I don't care. All I care about is what I think. Okay. And so while she may not be the world's, hottest woman ever that ever walked on the planet, and all guys are falling at her fucking feet, I don't care. She got my dick hard and she was fun.
Well, here's the question that I have
Tubus, it does. It makes her a 12.
It makes her a 12, bro.
is that there's a style that younger women go for these days, and it has to do with makeup, it has to do with hair, it has to do with a lot of things.
Dude,
and
adult males have low standards.
Dude,
bro.
I had high standards whenever I was young, like in my 20s. I had high.
Same.
Now my standards are fucking subterranean, dude.
Dude, mine are pretty bad. I'm telling you what, because I'm not gonna marry them. So it's like, oh,
That's
she's a single mom. Bring her on. Oh, she's a muffin top. Bring her on. Oh, she's got a fucked up nose. Bring her on. I don't care because it's my life. And most women, I would, because I know what I want. And I just want the experience and I want the fun. I'm not here to marry them. I'm not here to wife them up and live with them. So fuck it. Bring them on. I do not care.
And so these younger chicks, the style and the way they do their makeup and their hair and stuff is not appealing to me at all. And
Oh, Nick,
we've all done that.
Yeah, dude. We've
Zach,
done that. And the best part is he stepped on his own dick. So he even fucked that one up. Dude, welcome to the club. All right.
well, I mean, they're I think the turning point, I've had two turning points in my life, and they've both been at some point. My woods are mostly in the abstract at this point, because it's like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it, and if I were interested, I probably would. But at this point, I actually want less experiences now rather than more.
Oh,
That has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of a virtue thing. It has nothing to do with standards. It has nothing to do with anything except fucking laziness.
there.
And
Bingo.
and
There it is.
it's like I have so little energy to put into chicks at this point, and a lot of that has to do with Little Spurg, because what energy I do have, I am going to put into her. But for the three chicks that I've been with, that I was with the last half of 2022, they brought something a little bit extra to the table that kept me interested. But for the most part, the other ones that I mentioned, hanging out with friends and going over to people's houses and hey, have you met XYZ chick? And I'm like, hey. And it's like it's just like I have absolutely no energy or interest. And it's not because they don't meet some sort of quality. It doesn't mean that they that I'm
not the ambition or the energy. I
that
get
I
it.
only bang 9s or 10s. I just, in the last year or so,
You're
year
like,
and a half, I've really hit this wall where it's like,
The
I'd,
male wall.
I'd rather go play my guitar, you know.
Right.
It's like I'd rather sit in some peace and quiet, play the guitar, maybe come on here and shoot the shit with you guys, you know, go to my buddy's house, hang out at the pool, smoke cigars, and, you know, tell the same stories about the, you know, fucked up shit we did when we were 20, you know. And it's like, you know, there comes a point where, and I really honestly think it's because I think everybody hits a point where, I'm not gonna say everybody. I hit a point where I had enough. You know, I got enough in my tank. You know, maybe if I spent the next 5 years celibate, that may change my whatever. But I got a point where, you know, I fucked around, I found out, I, you know, did all the things that I wanted to do pretty much. And then you come to a point, it's kind of like when you beat a video game. Like
Yep.
back in the old days, I would beat a video game, and if I ever actually did beat the video game, I never played it again
Right.
because I lost all interest in it once I
Yep.
beat it. And this kind of feels similar.
Yep.
And you know, obviously, if Little Spurg and I weren't still a thing, this would be a little bit different. So there is that, but
Right.
it's just you know, it comes to a point where it's like shit. You know, I can go bang Little Spurg this weekend, or I can yeah, that's right. I want to find a good provider chick.
That's right. We've hit the
Nick's looking for
wall,
that
Nick.
golden parachute. He's looking for that
Well,
golden parachute.
That's you know, I mean it's a
Parachute
joke, but
girl.
there is a lot of truth to that because in the sense of provider, I don't need, you know, somebody to provide me with money and shit, but the stuff that Little Spurg provides is
There
stuff
you
that I
have it.
want, you know.
There you go.
And she does a good job providing it, and she provides it enthusiastically and whenever I want. And when you get that, you know, aside from, you know, the random, you know, there's always going to be an edge case, you know, some chick you meet somewhere and she's just gonna, you know, she's just gonna do it for you. But you know,
Right.
for the most part, you know, most women can't get that. You know, can't bring to the table what she brings. And so it's like I can take it or leave it.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, it's and I think a lot of it, honestly, I don't think it, I really, I think it has to do with a perfect storm of events or of situations. Cause I don't think this would have been true when I was 25,
Same.
but at 55, about to be 56, you know, it's like, you know, a lot of it is been there, done that. A lot of it is, you know, libido's lower, you know, and
Yeah.
or and whatever else. And it's like, you know, there are other things that interest me more now because I feel like, not that I was ever some big PUA and I haven't banged 1,000 chicks, but it's like, you know, I did all the shit that I set out to do. So there are other parts of my life where I've still got, you know, a little farther to go that I want to accomplish. So naturally my interest and my energy gravitates towards that, if that makes sense.
What do y'all have to say? What do y'all have to say about Billy's comment here?
Think about your favorite food. Now imagine you could only eat it 5 times a year. Okay, hang on. I got to think about my favorite food. And I could only eat it 5 times a year. Ooh. That's how it looks to me when you say you only get 5 new women a year. Okay, now here's my take on what he's saying. Because I think from my perspective, I'm with him. Okay. If I could only eat pizza 5 times a year and that's it, dude, I would be fucking foaming at the mouth for pizza. And only 5 times a year ain't enough. And that part, I agree with him. That this is where I'm not quite where Nick is. Because I'm like, no. That I like strange. I like new. I like variety. That's one thing the belly dancer and I have discussed a few times where I'm like, look, You're, as far as I'm concerned, she's, not the one, but she's my bottom bitch. She's my top woman because she's been around the longest, at least in the last few years. She understands who I am and what I'm about. And I've come to the conclusion for me that I'm always going to want an appetizer. I'm always going to want strange. There's always going to be some woman who's going to catch my eye and I'm going to say would. Okay. That doesn't mean I don't want to be around her and that I don't care about her and that I'm not interested in her. But I'm always going to want to wander off and sample something else because it's there. And that's who I am. And she understands that she's like, hey, as long as you come home for dinner, I don't care where you got your appetite. And I'm like, okay. And
you know,
that's where I'm at. That's me. And that to me ties into what Billy was saying.
since I consider his question to be kind of one of those angel dance on a head of a pin questions, but
yeah.
but I'm going to give it an angel dances on the head of a pin answer, which is fair. Because A, I don't have a favorite food, so it's not relevant. B, to me, there's a difference, and I'm splitting hairs here, but there's a difference between wanting strange as a general rule and wanting strange in a situation. And so I'm not saying that if a unique opportunity happened where there was somebody who, in my scale was, either at least was fuckable or, was slump buster. And as long as they weren't, I wouldn't fuck her with Rob's dick, then I would probably still go with it. So I'm still accepting and open to that. I'm just not actively seeking it as a general rule as
and
much.
I would agree with that part.
As
I don't
back in the day. And I think that has a lot to do with my age and just, getting your 50s, testosterone goes down, your drive just kind of goes down a little bit. And I actually like that, as I've said before, because
same here.
Because it's helped me accomplish a lot of other things.
Right.
But it's the kind of thing where I get more and more in this space of I'm not chasing after it, but if it comes into my orbit, depending on the day, I may go after it and I may not. And that's how these chicks that I met last half of last year went. It's like I wasn't out really looking for them, but I just happened to look up and there they were, so it's like, and I was hungry. So,
and I'm with you on that one, Nick. Yeah. I'm not right now, today, tonight, I'm not actively seeking. It's like, I got the belly dancer. We have a good time. We do our thing and I'm good. I'm good. But I also know me that, when spring comes around, summer comes around, I'm going to be a little more hungry, but that's me also. And so I know how I'm going to roll. Okay. To go with what Dante said, a couple comments. He said, Billy, nope, not that one. Couple up, that one. The analogy only works if women are your favorite thing. And Dante and I have had this talk. Okay. And I'm not disagreeing with Dante. For me personally, this is Rob, the villain. Okay. Women are my favorite thing. They're the reason I do anything at all, ultimately. And it's not simping and pedestalizing. It's just women fascinate me. I like them, whether I fuck them or not. I like being around them. I like interacting with them. Yeah. Well, I would even consider it beyond a hobby. It's almost an obsession for me. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's, if I took the energy that I put into women and I put it into video editing or I put it into my guitar, I would be Yngwie Malmsteen on guitar. I would be the world's greatest editor in videos if I put it in that area. I'd be the world's greatest podcaster. Okay. But I'm not any of those things because I devote my energy towards women, because ultimately, to me, when I look at guitar, when I look at videos, when I look at computers and live streams and all this other shit that I get involved in, reading books, reading about Marcus Aurelius, okay, none of that shit loves me back. Women do, even if it's only for a short time, they love me back. And that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what I go to bed with. That's why I want a memory of all of that. Whether they stick around for years on end or they're gone in a flash. I choose that path. And guys can argue it and say, oh, it's the path of destruction and whatever. I do not care. This is my path. And so I get where he's saying, yeah, when they're not a thing anymore, you move on to other shit. Personally, for me, I haven't found that delineation, but I'm closer towards it, where I can go back to what Nick said, where, yeah, I don't actively seek it all the time, but I'm like a trapdoor spider. If the motherfuckers come close enough to my lair, I'm going to pounce. And that's just me.
Yeah, it's, a lot of this, I mean, this really gets back to the whole everybody's different and everybody has their own shoulds for themselves. And I don't have any business telling Rob or Bull or anybody else generally what their should be. And because everybody, that's everybody's own decision. And, that's one of the things that I don't like about the way the world seems to be moving toward, is because everybody's constantly, critiquing everybody else's thing and saying, well, you should be chasing women more, or you shouldn't be chasing women as much, or you should be, stacking this much money, or you should be doing that. And it gets to a lot of, it gets to a lot of feminine kind of perspective, and also no shade in your direction, Billy, but that's kind of like, what this
and
question
I do want to
here.
answer his question.
Yeah, I'll let you get to that, but it's, it's almost like, if Rob he didn't say he spent so much time on women. He said that was his greatest, or one of his greatest interests. But the number of women you actually end up hook up with, it's not necessarily about volume and numbers. It's about your experiences and what works for you in your daily flow of life. Because I know Rob has a lot of other stuff, both interests and responsibilities that he has. So nobody spends all their time doing that unless.
Well, it's also kind of like fishing too, because like even a good fisherman is gonna catch some fish, and some fish are gonna be keepers, and a lot of them gonna be throwbacks.
Correct.
And there have been a lot of fishing trips I've been on where we caught so many fish in 30 minutes that I didn't want to look at another fish for 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because everybody's different, right? So there's no way to really that's not, to me, again, no shade, but that's not a meaningful question to me.
Well,
anyway,
and I'm going to answer Billy, since he was asking me personally. If Rob spends so much time on women, then why did he only get 3 new ones last year? Not trying to throw shade, just curious. Here's my answer. Couple parts. You're asking me a complex question, but I'm going to try to be as direct and as simple as I can. 1, I have to work. I have to sleep. I have to eat. I like to do shows like this. Okay. So I have other shit going on in addition to women. Plus, I had one full time already that I was seeing regularly every week, going out, doing shit with her. Call it an open relationship. Call it whatever you want. So I already had one, in the bag, if you will. So that takes a lot of the thirst, if you will, the slake. It's like, whether these other chicks show up, whether things happen or not, I've got one that's pretty steady. Okay. And she knows what I do. She accepts it. So That's a big part of it. Number two, hey, out of those 10 women, let's go back to 10, not 3. That's just 3 that I bagged. Okay. There were 10 women that I met. That's not a great big number. That's not counting all the women that I texted that didn't go anywhere. That's not counting all the women that I, sent pictures. They sent pictures. We did video chats, all that nonsense that they didn't go anywhere. Okay. I'm only counting 10 women that I met, and 3 of them I ended up fucking. The rest of them, yeah, I made out with some, and 2 of them, I got a hug, and that was it. I am not the world's greatest pickup artist. I do not have the bulletproof system. Just because she shows up doesn't mean she's going to fuck me. And I'm okay with that because I still enjoyed the experience with her. I was around a new woman. Oh, what's your story? Some women, she's not into me. Or sometimes, it's mutual. Sometimes I'm like, nah, no thanks. I'm okay. Okay. So I still obsess about women. That's why I'm almost a one-track mind when it comes to all this, because this is kind of my wheelhouse. I love them, but that doesn't mean they love me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, well, I got to meet her. I got to make out with her. I got to do whatever it was with her. And sometimes, yeah, I got to fuck her too. And it's like, great. Sometimes they hung around for a minute. Sometimes it was one time and then I never saw them again. I have no regrets. And that thirst, if you will, that desire has never been slaked. And as Bull and I and Nick even have talked about it, I am chasing the dragon. All right. I am more interested in the hunt in a lot of cases than I am in the kill. It's just, here's somebody new. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm sane. I'm not saying you guys should pursue my path. But it's the path I choose for me because it's what works.
Zachary, to answer your question, she was down to fuck because a girl who's not wouldn't be touching you that much.
I had a chick give me a handshake 15 times dude, she wanted you to touch her more.
Yeah. You were not. Yeah. If a girl is not into you, she's not going to want you to touch her.
Oh yeah. If a chick is not down, you will whatever it is, you will know. Where, if she's shaking your hand or doing whatever, dude, she wants you to escalate.
Yeah, you did not. That's you stepping on your dick again.
Well,
and that's okay.
Back when I was still working for the company I was working for and traveling everywhere. So, I was meeting people from our company every month in, different hotels across the country because we were a fully remote workforce. So, we were always traveling to shit and meeting up places and whatever. And so there were several, and I had such a sweet job at that company that I wasn't about to fuck that up. But at the same time, this was 2018, 2019 when it started, when I stopped, all of this. But, it was still like we had so many people that we hired all the time. And we had a certain part of our team that was always transitional. So they weren't going to be around a long time anyway. And so my thing was I used to play this game where I wanted to see if I could get a chick to come to my hotel room. Now, nothing would happen when we got there because I wasn't about to fuck up my salary and everything else I was getting from the job. And potentially this could have done that because obviously this could have resulted, if she was crazy, this could have resulted in a, in a Me Too kind of thing. And I'm not saying I recommend anybody. This is one of those things where, you know,
You're being the voice of reason. Yeah.
this is not not what I'm saying you should do. I'm just saying this is what I did do.
Right.
And so I had several that, you know, I got, you know, I managed to game them and got them to my hotel room fully sober. There was no drinking involved, nothing like that. And you know, we get to the point where they're in my hotel room, you know, hugging me and shit.
Mm.
And I had to turn that down and walk away from that in a graceful way.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, this kind of goes back to what Rob was saying, and this kind of goes back to what, you know, and I get it, because I used to do this too. I used to be that way too. Because for me, it really ended up becoming about the game and about the hunt more than it did the conquest. Once I got enough conquest behind under my belt, so to speak. And but you know, I did that several times, and yeah, that was risky. And again, I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying
Don't eat paint.
I'm just saying it's what I did, because that was who I am. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And you know, it's possible I could have fucked that up anyway. But it was like, hey, you know, there's something here. I'm going to see how far I can push it, and then, you know, have to step back from the edge. And I did, because at that point in my life, you know, I'm still in my early 50s, late 40s, whatever. And at that point in my life, the job, the salary, the career, everything was still more important than just getting laid, especially if it was something that was going to get me, you know, potentially fired. But I still had to see how far I could go with it, to see if, you know, because it wasn't technically a check mark in the W column, but it was about as close as I could get without putting myself in a more vulnerable situation. So I did that shit, because that part of it, that is a lot of the fun right there. You know, it's like, you know, it's kind of like if you know, when I was hunting a lot, you know, when I first started hunting, I killed everything I ever saw, because, you know, I hadn't killed a lot before that. Once I'd killed a lot, then, you know, I could pass up some things, hoping that something, you know,
you wanted that bigger, you know, the 5 point or the 7 point versus the spike. Right.
Yeah, you pass up a doe or a spike, because something bigger may be coming along the way, but then maybe it doesn't come at all. But that's the risk you take at that point, because you've gotten satiated by the basics, and now you want more of a challenge, or, you know, you're willing to wait for it. And so it's the same kind of thing. And I still do that. And that's why I say that it's not like a total, you know, it's not like I'm ever going to tell little Spurg that I promise you I will never, you know, look at another woman again, because I'm not going to do that.
Right.
But and so when opportunities come up, I still do that. I still push them as far as I can to see where I can make it go. And, you know, and at this point with some of them, you know, like last year, you know, I didn't have the issue of, oh, I got to say no because, you know, I'm in a leadership
because of
position
obligations
in
or whatever.
or whatever. Right. And so that's, you know, and I don't think that, to me, that's something that has never changed. Just the, you know, just sort of walking away and saying, you know, nah, I'm not going to see where that goes. Now, if I were still married to the mother of my children, yeah, I really didn't pursue much back when I was married, you know, to the mother of my children. But at this point, you know, why not?
All bets are off. Right.
Exactly. So I get it.
One of the things, you know, watching, you know, listening to you and watching the chat a little bit reminds me of a story that happened to me when I really just started pushing the envelope, as you call, you know, to paraphrase you, Nick.
Yeah.
So this was a few years ago. This was right after I got divorced. So this is like back in 2015, maybe 2016. Met this woman. Okay. She comes to the bar. I'm already there because that's me. I like to, get a glimpse of the surroundings. It's the hunter. Where am I at? Where's my surroundings? Where's the best part? To have the tree shelter or whatever to take a shot at the deer. All right. So I'm already there. I've had a drink, been drinking on my beer. In walks the woman. And it's like, hello. Okay. Here's the deer. All right. So I'm sighting her in and she comes over, smiles, we give the little hug and she sits down and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, then at one point, as we're getting closer to the end of the evening, she mentioned something or other about her outfit. And I said, yeah, nice choice. And she's like, oh, thanks. And I was like, wait, stand up. Let me see. Doing the whole compliance thing that you guys love to fucking talk about. Okay. Buzzwords. We got to have some value here. So I get her to stand up. She spins around. And I even took her hand, spun her around, checked her out in her entirety. And I'm like, man, that ass. Great ass. Okay.
Great ass.
Right. Because she did. She had a great ass. And I remember it was instinct that I just kind of, as I'm spinning her around, I walked behind her. So she's facing the same direction I am. Her ass is basically, parallel, her ass is facing my crotch. And without even thinking about it, I just swatted her on the ass. And her whole body shivered and she did this little snake move where her body just was like, oh yeah. Okay. Walked her out to her car, kissed her, oh, I'd love to see you again. She's like, oh yeah, this would be great. She gets in her car, she leaves. I got in my car, I left, and I never heard from her again.
Oh shit.
Dude, I've had that happen on more than one occasion. What is the point? There's two points. One, it's fucking random. Okay. She may have went home and went, oh my God, this dude just smacked me on the ass. What the fuck? Maybe. Okay. Maybe she had other guys. Maybe there was an ex. Maybe there was some other dude she was talking to. Because when I reached out to her the next day and told her good morning, zero. Nothing. Okay. That's point number one. It's fucking random. You don't know why. Who cares? Point number two. I decided, like Nick said, to push the envelope. And I've had plenty of envelopes blow up on my face. It's happened. Those 8 women that I met, 3 of them I fucked. 5 of them, including the 3 I made out with, but 5 of them, at the moment that I was there with them, they seemed into it. They were kissing, they were responding, things were good, and then nothing. Okay, maybe it was me. Maybe. And if it was me, here's what I think. If it was me, it's because I was too fucking forward. Okay? That's the only thing I could think, because they laughed at my jokes. They enjoyed my company. It's not like they hurried and drank their drink and then got the fuck out of Dodge. When I was like, hey, let's go for a walk for a minute, sober up a little bit, whatever, let's get the drink out of our system. They went willingly. They kissed where they wanted it. They were excited about it. They couldn't wait for it. And then the next day, nothing. Or the day after, nothing. It's not always you. Or if it is, maybe you were too forward. Maybe it was, wow, you came on strong. Okay. I would rather come on strong and let them know what I'm about and what I'm for than go on and hide your dick and be weak and that's how you get friend zoned. Okay. I would rather be the guy that I would rather go too far than not far enough. And that's from learned experience, because when I was 20 something, like Dante's age, I was the guy who hid my dick, who pretended that, oh yeah, I'm not about sex. No. I'm that, new age, sensitive, caring guy. Okay. I was surrounded by women and was fucking none of them. Well, fuck, I already did that and I already know what the results were. So I decided, hey, I'm going to be the guy that's going to just fucking lay it on the table, and I'm going to push the envelope as far as I can till they go, no. Fuck it. And sometimes, yeah, they have buyer's remorse the next day. They wake up, they sober up or whatever and go, what the fuck was I thinking? Holy shit, this guy's a horn dog. He's a misogynistic, sexist pig. Who cares? I would rather know early than later. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my energy. And I certainly do not want to waste my money. So, girl spins around. I slap her on the ass. Her body responds. But then the next day, ghost. Oh, well. I do not care. It happens. It totally happens. And that's the point. Maybe it was you. Maybe it had nothing to do with you. Maybe there was another guy. Maybe she went, oh shit, what was I thinking? Who fucking cares? I would rather push the envelope. And that's been my experience in the last few years, is I'm just constantly pushing to see when I get pushed back. When I get slap on the wrist, or I get the rape whistle blown, or whatever it is, the Me Too allegation, whatever it is, the worst I've had, guys, seriously, is a woman ghost. That's it. The last time I had a woman tell me fuck off, which was the worst blowout I've ever had ever, was when I was younger than Dante. And I was stupid. And I walked up on a woman in a bar, walked up behind her while she was having a conversation with her friends, tapped her on the shoulder, and then opened her. And she turned around and looked at me and said, fuck off. That's the worst I've ever had. And yeah, at the time, at that moment, I thought, what a bitch. But the truth is, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I didn't know how to calibrate it. Where I'm looking at it now at 51 going, yeah, dude, you shouldn't have walked up behind her. You shouldn't have interrupted her conversation, because she wasn't even looking at you. She had no clue you existed until you tapped her on the shoulder and you surprised her. And so what did you fucking expect other than her to turn around, look at you and go, fuck off? Okay. That was me not knowing anything. So I don't blame her. I'm surprised it didn't turn out worse. But that is the worst I've ever had. And I've done and said some outlandish shit over the years. And I've never had a response that negative. And that's not because she's a cunt. That's because I was an idiot. I can blame myself on that it's like, oh, dude, what were you fucking thinking? Because, me now, I'm like, yeah, don't do that. But I've said and done some shit and watched them respond, and they still run off. Who fucking cares? I'll just go meet another woman, and either she'll respond positively or she won't. Who cares? I'll just find another woman, because that's my life.
There's one chick I was working with. We were talking on chat one day, and we're about to meet up in Chicago or somewhere like that. And she kept talking about, like, she was from California. She had this side gig where she would she would go to like kids' birthday parties dressed up like Disney characters and shit. So I was asking her to tell me about all the different Disney characters she dressed up as, and so she was like, well, you know, there's this and this and this, but the costumes I already have at home are this one, this one, this one. I was like, all right. So when we meet up in Chicago, you know, you bring your princess whatever dress, you know, I want you to wear that. She's like, okay. and she fucking did it. She was like 30, you know, and we were in Chicago, and it was like you know, one evening, and everybody else was off, you know, on their own thing. And I got her to come to my room wearing her princess dress. And it was like, that was the game, that was the challenge. And I did feel kind of shitty because obviously, you know, I sent her away and we didn't do anything. But the compliance, and this is my point here, is that the compliance was off the charts because she packed that fucking dress in her, you know, suitcase, hauled it across the country, and then she wore it when I told her to. And you know, that kind of shit, you know, 25 years ago, I would have never even thought to do that, much less could have brought myself to do it. But you get to a point where, you know, it's like, it's almost like you're looking for ways to I'm not going to say challenge yourself because that sounds silly and stupid, but it was just more like it was
push the envelope. You want to see what works and what doesn't.
It's exactly that. It's exactly like pushing to see. It was only to see if I could get her to do it.
Right.
And, you know, and honestly, you know, things could have rolled differently and maybe something would have happened. And I'll be honest with you now, you know, that was a year before. That was about a year and a half before I left the company anyway. So getting back to the other shit, not again, this is not recommending anything, any kind of behavior to anybody.
No. Yeah.
But looking back, I'm like, I should have just fucked her.
Right.
I mean, I ended up leaving the company anyway. Now, you know, but in addition to that, I also want to say that a lot of these chicks that, you know, that we went down this heavily flirtatious road back then, you know, they were all younger. They all tended to be liberal Democrats and shit like that. And with all of them combined with everybody else I've ever gone out with, I've never been in a situation where somebody tried to, you know, me too me or anything like that. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. And I'm not saying you don't have to be careful. But this idea that there's a chick behind every bush waiting to jump out and accuse you of rape, it's just not been my experience at all.
Same here. It's not been mine either.
It's like looking both ways when you cross the street. You need to, you know, don't step out in front of a fucking bus is my version of don't eat paint.
Right.
But at the same time, as long as you pay attention,
so timid that you have to worry that all sides of the fucking road are completely clear for 3 miles.
Right. Now, and again, I'm going to say that I did some slightly risky shit. I admit that. But you know, at this point in my life, also, I had plenty of money saved up. I wasn't married. I wasn't, you know, I don't really, I partially, if I wanted to stay in that industry, I needed to keep my reputation good. And if I wanted to stay in my job, I really didn't need to fuck up and, you know, shit where I ate and all that kind of stuff. And I was cognizant of that. But at the same time, there was, you know, I didn't really have all that much to lose as I saw it because, you know, if, you know, because at the end of the day, I didn't actually do anything wrong.
Right.
And so I really wasn't all that worried about it. Now, you know, most people would not be in that position or have that mindset. But, you know, still, I mean, it was like my experience with all this shit back when I was into it much heavier is that everything you see in the manospace and all that other kind of stuff, it's all heightened and exaggerated because everybody's there to talk about what the dangers and the problems and the trauma is. And so it gives you kind of a skewed sense of what life is actually like if you really get sucked into that too much and stay there for too long, because most of the time that shit doesn't happen, even amongst, liberal millennial chicks. Most of them are not out there trying to Me Too somebody,
Right.
and all this other kind of stuff. And so
They're just virtue signaling on their own. That's all it is.
There's an exaggerated sense of women as evil,
right?
And they certainly can be,
Oh,
and
sure.
I've run into
always that
some.
one. Yeah, there's always that one.
But I think there's just
they're not like that.
Yeah, there's too much hay made over,
Too much to do about nothing.
You got to walk this very tight space, this tightrope, or else you're just going to get fucked one way or another. And for the most part, if you're smart and you're not a creep, I don't think that's true at all.
Correct.
At least it hasn't been in my experience. And
Same
at this
here.
point,
Same here.
I've got a pretty good bit of experience, more than your average dude, I think. So
same here.
Anyway.
Same here.
For what that shit's worth.
Well, it's like where's it at here? Where'd it go? I saw it. God damn it. Unless they deleted it. Maybe it got deleted. But there was a comment about, liberal Democrat women. And I'm like, oh, that's a green light.
Yep.
Not that I'm into, there we go. Danny's. Yep. Nah, dude. Liberal Democrat, not that I'm into politics, but that's the thing. If you're thinking it makes my skin crawl, all of that, okay, bro. I'm not throwing shade at you, Danny. I'm not. Okay. But liberal Democrat, to me, that's a green light. Okay. Because she's probably going to be down to fuck. She's down to more open experiences. You can probably get away with way more than you would the, Republican conservative chick. Okay. Because I've met them and they are a worse pain in the ass than a liberal Democrat chick is. Okay. But it depends on what you want. Okay. I personally don't want to deal with politics, period. I don't even want to get into it. And if that's your opener, go away. But I'll take a liberal Democrat chick over a Republican conservative chick every time, because at least I know the odds of me getting laid right now, tonight, or the next day are pretty good compared to the Republican conservative. She's too caught up in her she's caught up in her Kool-Aid. And because I've met them and I'm like, go away. I don't need your outrage. I've already seen it. I've already read it. I've already watched it, and I'm not interested. I do not care. All right. But here's the thing for like Dante, and Dante's learning it because he's doing it. Okay. And Dante's half my age. So in a way, age-wise, he's ahead of me. Because he's figuring out, pushing the envelope, what he can do, what he can get away with, what works, what doesn't, what are the consequences. When I was his age, I bought the bullshit. Oh, you got to be this, you got to do that, you don't blah, 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 all that shit. It's the prison that you have solidified that somebody else built. Okay, whether you call it mom and dad or society or culture or religion, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Somebody created a prison and you finished the bars. You locked the lock. Not them, you did. That's what I've learned. And when I learned to let myself out, which it was never locked anyway, now I'm at a point and I'm playing catch up in a lot of ways where I'm like, oh shit, I got to see where this goes. I'm going to push the envelope, see where when they turn around and slap my hand and say, no, don't fucking do that. Oh, damn. Okay. But I have not yet found that. Are women random? Yeah. Are they going to ghost for whatever reason? Yeah. Are they going to, come on to you hot and heavy and then the next day they disappear and you never hear from them again? Yes. And you're going to sit there when you're Dante's age, you're going to go, what did I do wrong? You're going to beat yourself over the head. You're going to question yourself. You're going to doubt yourself because I've done it. I've been there. I've overanalyzed it. Oh man, if I had said this or done that. What if, and I'm going to play Morpheus for you guys. What if it had nothing to do with you at all?
Well, that's why I actually like, said this many times, I like going out with liberal Democrats because I know that they're going to make it easy on me because we're going to go out 2 or 3 times and then
Yep.
they're gonna take off because I'm gonna be, more vocal about shit at some point because they're gonna bring that shit up. I'm not, but
Right.
they're gonna bring it up. Then I'm gonna tell them what I think, and then they're gonna be like, ew.
But that's
And then
after you fucked them. Right.
and if they're truly liberal because if you've been here and done that, they don't bring it up before then either because they don't want to ruin it either. They want to
Right.
they want to go with the shit. They don't ever ask about it until after you fucked. And
Yep.
then at
Then
that
they
point,
bring up, so what do you think of Biden? And then that's when you go, well, my dick's, still wet from your pussy, but I got post nut clarity. And well, I think Biden's a piece of shit. What do you think?
well,
You
what ends up happening is you find out if they're truly a liberal Democrat or not.
Right.
How much they've bought into it because
Yeah, they typically haven't bought that much into it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes they have, sometimes they haven't. But my point is that, to me, that's a win because I'm not looking for somebody to permanently settle down with anyway. And
Right.
if they're gonna fuck me once or twice and then just, ghost me, that's great. What do I give a shit? Why do I care? So, I while I, most women haven't really thought through their politics anyway, especially if they're somewhat younger. And so, I never think or talk or bring up politics because
Same.
I'm not there to, have a discussion on, uh, Rothbard's libertarianism
Right. I'm not here to discuss
versus
politics and stoicism with women. I don't give a fuck.
versus, the Milton Friedman's libertarianism. I'm there to have a good time and to party and to, ultimately get
crush it
laid.
with passion.
Crush it with passion. That's right. And so it doesn't really matter to me what their politics are. Now, if I'm obviously, if I, somebody that I end up, being in some kind of long-term thing with, it's either going to be with somebody, with a chick who doesn't truly really care about politics, which is what most chicks are, honestly, when it comes down to it. Once they get beyond, the stuff that they've been taught to spout off, whether it's lefty or righty, most of them don't really care if they've got the life they want.
Right.
So, that's really what it usually boils down to. But even, long term, I don't really hide my politics. So if somebody finds it particularly offensive, they're not going to stick around for a long time anyway, which,
Exactly.
is fine. So a lot of the women that I was dating right when I, met Little Spurg and I ended up mostly just dating her, half of them were, espouse some sort of, liberal feminist bullshit, whatever. And, they brought that shit up, afterwards. And, after we smashed and it, then it was like maybe we saw each other one more time and then that was the end of it because, they didn't necessarily know what they wanted, but they, didn't want to,
They knew what they didn't want. Yep.
right. And they did, they for whatever reason, they just decided, well, that was the end of that. And, every woman has a box of dicks on her phone, like Carl used to say
Yep.
so eloquently. So, she can probably, she can keep going on doing whatever she's doing. I don't care. You know,
Well,
why?
and the point, the point for the viewership from my perspective is like Dante and I have talked about, where he's like, holy shit, this is random. And it's like, yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes when you've had enough experience, when you've done this enough, you do get to a point, hopefully, I can't say it for all guys, but at least for me, I got to a point when I knew when I fucked up, when I was like, damn, that was the moment. I said this or I did that. And you learn that, oh shit, yep, that one was me. And it's done. So you take a mental note and you go, don't do that again. Okay. But there's other times when you look at it, she goes, she disappears, she does whatever. And you go, wait, that wasn't me. I said and did all the shit that I usually do that worked before. And she seemed okay with it at the time, at that moment. And you have to go, maybe it wasn't me. Okay. Maybe it was her. Maybe there was some other dude. Maybe she wasn't really ready to date. Maybe it was she only really wanted friends or whatever it is. It wasn't you. It wasn't that you were too forward or you weren't forward enough. It had nothing to do with you. Guys, get it through your precious fucking ego. Maybe it's not you. Maybe you did not matter that much. And so you can go, it wasn't me. I did everything I needed to do. I did the best I could, and it still went nowhere. And so instead of beating yourself up and, man, I got to go back to the basics. I got to go back to the drawing board. I got to rewrite this whole script and I need to follow a bunch of gurus. Maybe it wasn't you, dude. Maybe you didn't matter that much.
Well,
And
plus,
Well,
all of those rules that the gurus give you, they're not for the chick anyway. They're for you. They're to keep you,
right.
they're to keep you from going off the rails. They're not there to guarantee you any
Thank
kind of
you,
fucking
Nick.
result.
Thank you.
And that's really the whole fucking point, because that chick is she's got a hamster that she doesn't even know is a hamster in her head that's running on a wheel while it's trying to drink a cocktail of insecurity and bullshit and 10,000 other things that she's been conditioned to think all her life. And if she if it's somebody that you don't know well and she rejects you, she's not really rejecting you anyway, because she doesn't fucking know you. So
Right.
She's there. It's like
She's
Rob said, there could be
rejecting your offer.
there could be 10,000 reasons why she says no,
And none of them have to do with you.
none of them have to do with you. And then even if they do for some reason, who fucking cares anyway?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
I mean,
what failed with one woman works with another woman and vice versa. I've had approaches where I've been very direct, here's my dick and this is what I want. And I've had some women go, oh yeah, sign me the fuck up. And I've had others that go, ew, no. And it's like, okay, whatever. It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with her. Does that mean I'm not going to put my dick on the table? No, I'm going to put that fucker out there every time, because I'm going to push the envelope, because I do not want to fuck around. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste theirs. So I am willing to take that risk that she goes, ew, no, because I've had enough experience where some went, ooh, yeah, daddy, sign me up. That's the women I wanted anyway. Oh, hell yeah, come on. I'd rather get it out in the open as quick as possible than fuck around for 10,000 texts and 400 dates and 300 meals and $7,000 in debt. I'd rather know, Here's who I am. This is what I want. This is what I offer. Are you on board? Is this what you're looking for? And if she goes, no, thank you. Oh, cool. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
I honestly, in the relatively modest numbers I've put up, which are still light years ahead of what apparently most guys are able to do,
Yeah.
which still blows my mind because I'm not I'm not that 1,000 chicks guy, but
Same here. I'm not either. I'm not even
but-
close.
no, nowhere near. But the number of times politics has come up before we had sex is zero. I've never been hanging out with a chick where there was any kind of sexual vibe where anybody brought up politics whatsoever. I surely didn't,
Same here.
and they never did.
Yep.
Now, if they still stuck around after 2 or 3 dates, and we would actually, sit down, have a long, we'd actually go have a meal together and have a long conversation. A lot of times it would
may or
come
may
up.
not come up. Yep.
Right. A lot of times it would come up. A lot of times it wouldn't. And, honestly, unless I'm, unless I want you in my life as a permanent fixture for a long period of time where we spend a significant amount of time together, I don't give a shit about your politics. I don't give a shit about your religion. I don't give a
Yep.
shit about, all your whatever crazy bullshit you think about. I could care less. What I care about is, do we have a good time together?
Yep.
Do I enjoy being with you? Do you hit the right notes for me? Do you make my dick hard, like, Bull Rush likes to say?
Yep.
And
All that matters.
are you crazy or dangerous in some kind of way?
Right.
And
Are you going to shoot me or stab me?
as long as the general answers to those questions are the correct ones, I could give a fuck about, the rest of it.
Right.
Even the last part is like, if it's a maybe, it's still a green light.
Well,
Not
that's
going to disagree. Not going to disagree.
I'm not going to disagree, but that's on a person by person basis.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Case by case, that's a yellow flag. It's like
And-
proceed with caution. Yeah.
On that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We gave them
Sounds
over
good.
3 hours of fucking
Holy
value.
shit. We've had a marathon in a way for Let 'em Burn. Wow.
Yeah. A fucking,
All right.
we had half a tard telethon. So,
Half. Yeah, no shit.
Half
We're
of a
close.
tard
Yeah,
telethon.
half a tard telethon. No shit.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have anything?
Real quick, I do one last thing I want to say because I'm watching Zachary and Dante going back and forth. Zachary said something about, I'm cool with the whole it's not you thing except for with one girl, and I can't figure out why. Dante said, it's probably not you. And Zachary said, common sense tells me you're right, but some of the things she said were just, and then he dropped off on that. And Dante said, no use looking back. You can figure it out later. Okay. So I want to address that real quick. Zachary, Dante, both of you are right and you're wrong. Okay. Zachary, you're right. You got this niggling thing in the back of your head. I get it. Been there, done that.
You said niggling.
Well, it is because it's that itch you can't scratch. Because I've been there. You want closure. You want to know why. And Dante's going, don't worry about it, bruh. You'll figure it out later. He's right and he's wrong. Here's where he's right. Don't worry about it, dude. Here's where he's wrong. You may never figure it out. The truth is, you're thinking about unfinished business. Bro, Zachary, it's finished. It just didn't come out the way you wanted it. And the truth is, you'll probably never know.
And it doesn't matter.
Correct. It doesn't matter. You need to learn to let it go. And I struggled in some cases for a couple of years with that one. Okay. So I get it. You're not always going to know. You have to be willing to go, whatever, and you let it go.
It's where
Because
fuck it and roll comes in.
Yeah, fuck it and roll comes in, because ultimately, if you dwell on it for any period of time, even if it's only, I only think about it once in a blue moon, doesn't matter, dude. It will hold you back. Okay. That's coming from me from 51 years of dating and living and all that. Because trust me, there's been relationships that went on for an extended period of time. And when it ended, I had questions. And the truth is, sometimes you're never going to know. And
Dude,
you
I
have
had
to come to peace with that.
I had, a few years ago, saw this chick 2 or 3 times. She was 20 years younger than me. She was gorgeous. She was right in my wheelhouse as a petite little blonde chick. And we had a great time, 2 or 3 times together. Nothing, never had a crossword, never had an awkward moment, never had nothing. And then, like, after the third date, she just totally ghosted me.
Yep. I don't know
And
why.
haven't talked to her since, haven't seen her since, and have no idea what happened. And yeah, it is weird. It is a little bit jarring, but so what?
Well, I want to add to that. Okay. I had an experience with the one back when I was 18. Okay. We dated for a year and a half, and then things fell apart and I had questions. Okay. Shit that haunted me for years. Always in the back of my mind, that niggling fucking thing. Here's the beauty, Zachary, pay attention. So I ran into this woman back in 2015. Okay. We're talking almost 30 years later. I ran into her, the one. Okay. Ran into her. I recognized her the minute I saw her. It took her 10 seconds when I called out her name. It took her like 10 seconds to realize I was talking to her. And it took her 30 seconds and me saying my name for her to go, oh shit. And then she recognized and remembered who I was. Okay. We go out, we have a drink, we get to talking. We talk about the good old days, about when we were kids, because we were kids. I was 18, she was 16. We talk about the good old days, and I had questions. Mind you, this is 2015, 8 years ago. And I ask her these questions. Hey, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Do you remember the other? What are your thoughts? Honestly, she looked at me and she's like, I don't even remember that. What was so significant to me, she had forgotten completely. Now, that doesn't mean whammon ain't shit. It's just a matter of perspective. And when she was able to give me a couple of answers, and I did, I got some closure, if you will, on a couple of things. She did remember a few things. And I was like, oh, okay. The truth is, I was not nearly as significant to her as she was to me. That's the lesson I got. And it did not make me bitter. It did not make me angry. If anything, I was like, oh, I ain't shit. And that's okay. And I got some closure. And this is a woman that was the one. All right. I was fortunate enough that I ran across her again almost 30 years later. And we sat down, we had a beer, we almost fucked for old time's sake, but But I was able to get some answers to some burning questions that were in the back of my mind. And most of it was she had no recollection, because that's how little I mattered. Even though for me, it was life changing, earth shaking, larger than life, bigger than God. To her, it was like, I'm sorry, Rob. I don't remember that.
But see, that's good because that teaches dudes to get out of their fucking heads and quit
Right.
over analyzing
That's
and to
that was
just
the beauty of it. I was like, oh wow, I really am not shit.
yeah.
And that really is what set me free ultimately. That I'm like, oh fuck. That's how little she remembered of me, even though in my mind she was the one. And it's like, wow, I made all these decisions after her with other women. It didn't matter. So Dante saying, yeah, you'll figure it out. Now, you probably won't, dude, unless you can talk to her. And then don't be shocked, disappointed, or surprised when she goes, huh?
Well, if you
Yep.
if you figure out anything, what you're going to figure out is it never mattered to begin with, and unless you've been dating her for 6 months, a year, who gives a shit anyway, right? Even then, it doesn't matter. But it's a different kind of thing. But if you've, dudes do this all the time. If you've been going out with somebody once or twice, or a couple of weeks, and then they ghost you, consider it just part of the game. They did you a favor. They made it easy on you.
Yep.
They made it easy on you.
Yep.
Quit why are you so invested? Why as a dude are you so invested after less than a year anyway? That's
or even
nuts.
more. Why are you invested in that sense? Period.
Yeah.
You're not her. You don't know her mind. You can't read her mind. Stop thinking you're the pinnacle of alpha sigma male, because ultimately you're not.
She went out with 3 other dudes that week. You saw her anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's like, come on.
Just get what you want from it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the time you have with her. And you cherish that memory that, man, that was fucking great. And then you move on. That's the definition of she's not yours. It's just your turn.
Mhm.
Okay.
That and you're a piece of shit, and that's okay.
Well, right. Because
without
that's
saying.
the truth. So you're not gonna always get closure, because I didn't think I would, but I did. I got closure on that one, on the one. I got closure and it was like, oh, well, I wasn't shit. But instead of being mad about it or angry about it or bitter, I was like, all right, okay, wow. And that's where you learn to move forward from it. You learn that, okay, women are going to like you for now. I love you right now. I'm with you right now. Whatever, that ride or die bitch for now. And you don't be mad about it or bitter. You're just like, yeah, for now. And then when you guys part ways, maybe that's in a day, a week, a month, a year, a decade, 5 decades. I don't know. Whatever it is. But you realize, there's always another dude. There's always another woman. Okay. When I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, when she broke up with me, I was devastated. But I knew in the back of my mind, dude, there's always another woman. And well, lo and behold, Rob went out, did a couple of slump busters to get himself out of the funk. And then, hey, I met a couple of women and they were phenomenal. And then they went away. And then Rob went on and met a few more women that, hey, these ones are pretty cool. And then they went away. And then Rob met the belly dancer. And you know what? Things are good until they're not. There's always another woman. And it's not bitterness or anger or any of that shit that drives me. It's just, hey, I'm going to enjoy my time and she'll be here until she's not. And then when she decides she wants to move on, or I decide I want to move on, then I'll deal with that hurdle when it comes, because you know what? There's always another woman.
Dude, there's like after 20 years of marriage and 2 children, and my ex and I are talking about splitting up, and I asked her, I said, "What about our commitment?" I said, didn't you mean it when you made that commitment?" And she said, "Yeah, I meant it at the time." I meant it at the time.
Right.
That's what you may end up dealing with. And if I can deal with that after 20 years of marriage and go on,
And so can you.
and it's not that it was easy, but it's also not that it was impossible either. It was just
Right.
something that had to be done, and that's kind of the point. And so, it was like, all right, well, she meant it at the time. She doesn't mean it now, and fuck it and roll. That's how you have a good time, to bring it back around to Bull Rush's thing.
Have a good time.
So he can close us out.
Y'all just gotta be. Yeah, I gotta get out of here, guys. I'm hungry.
All
I'm
right.
tired. And is Rob still there? Did he go play us out or
He
not?
needs to play us out.
Yeah, he played us in. He's got to play us out. That's the rules.
I wasn't here for the end, so I need to hear the Wheeler Walker on our way out.
Fucking McTubis, dude.
He's taking a whiz.
Must be.
Quick,
Cut it while he's not talking.
He's brief like TJ.
No shit, man. Woo. He's
He's
giving TJ running for his money
He's our
tonight.
TJ. He's our TJ. Are you gonna play us out with Wheeler or David Allen Coe?
Lord, I've had a good life, and I think I lived it right. Bet there's a big old orgy waiting for me in the sky. I'm sure behind them pearly gates there's booze and weed and pills. But if there ain't sluts in heaven, Lord, send me down to hell.